So maybe tonight, yes, yes, believe my signature where I want that.
I appreciate it more, you know.
So what else? Mr. Frank?
Get far, upper right.
Yes.
There is one?
Yeah. This one?
Maybe they just put the wrong name on it.
Wait. Which one do you want? So I also have two of these. Which do you want up first? Do you want
Forgot everybody who we missing.
Okay. We'll just have to go between those. I hope he's texting.
Good evening, everyone. We're going to call to order this meeting of the Gallatin City Council Committee. It's on. Okay, yeah, I've got it on. Am I good? Okay, call to order this meeting of the Gallatin City Council Committee. It is 6:01, and we will begin this meeting as it is a work session with the roll call, and Ms. Kittrell will take care of that for us, please.
Vice Mayor Hayes is absent. Councilman Alexander.
Present.
Councilman Carter.
Present.
Councilman Fan.
Here.
Councilman Fennell is absent. Councilman Jones.
Here.
And Councilman Juvance. Mayor, we do have a quorum.
Thank you so much. This evening, you have the minutes from the council committee meeting on October 28, 2025, and the special called meeting on November 18th, 2025.
Motion approved.
Have a motion to approve both sets by Councilman Jones,
Again.
second by Councilman Juvance. Are there any corrections, subtractions, additions? Seeing none, all in favor of approving the minutes from 10:28 and 11:18, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Minutes are unanimously approved. Before we go to public recognition, I do want to let this body know, actually let them know yesterday, that item number 16 was on the agenda to be discussed, but the American Legion, it's the American Legion Veterans Home Stormwater Improvement, which involved the Hill Avenue extension to remedy the problem and solve an issue with us for South Water. And our concern had been that Liberty Baptist was not interested in selling, and we were surprised that they had changed their mind. And so they decided that they would sell to the city of Gallatin, and they have signed an agreement. And so we will move forward with the plan that is designed. And we are very, very grateful for their help in that, because we endeavored to make it be a great project and solve two issues and damage them as little as possible. So that's the direction that we are going with that. So without objection, we will consider that removed. Councilman Juvance?
No objection, but when you're done, I would like to say something.
What now?
When you're done, I would like to say something, please.
Okay. I was just going to public recognition. What?
For public recognition.
What?
Before public recognition.
Okay, what is it?
I would like to make a motion to remove item 1 from the agenda because we have 21 items. Item 1 is bring to us, I think. I don't understand why. Developer made an agreement with the city not to build apartment and to stick to a certain amount of units. It's almost 3 times.
Well, you're debating item number 1 at this point, and so
I'm just explaining why I want to remove from the agenda. I think we should not waste our time tonight with that because there was an agreement made and we should stick to the agreement. So I make a motion to remove item 1 from the agenda.
I have a motion to remove item 1 from the agenda. Motion dies for lack of a second. I am concerned. I would think that there are likely people here that have interest in knowing more about that. So
And I got asked to see if we can move item 3 to the top.
I was going to ask that we do that. I wasn't going to move it till the top. I was going to move it to item number 2. We had a very nice citizen come up and ask that we move item number 3 to item number 2. It won't affect anybody who's here for item
And to
number 2.
approve.
Second.
But I mean, if you want to move it up, I don't care.
Oh, yeah, okay.
No, he had said 1. I was going to ask for 2, so it's your
Oh,
decision.
no, I thought he just said move it up to 2.
No, you said 1, didn't you?
I approve your, what you ask.
I'm sorry.
After,
You made a motion, I said what you said.
Okay, so motion and second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Okay, so we will go to item number 3 immediately after item number 1. With that, public recognition is about to be open, and this is the only period of public recognition at this meeting because it is a committee meeting. So that means whether you have an item of concern that is on the evening's agenda or is not on the evening's agenda, this is your time to speak to it. You have 5 minutes to speak. We ask for your name and your address for the record, and I will run the timer. And with that, public recognition is open.
Good evening. My name is Joanne Bates. I live at 120 Hicks Lane, and I'd like to give you some thoughts on the Myers Hill development. I will be adversely affected by this request for rezoning as I live adjacent to the proposed development. Houses are going to be built right outside my kitchen window. I'm opposed to the density of the Myers Hill development. 190 homes on 77.5 acres means the homes are going to be pretty close together. The request for R8 brings fear in an area where homes are on 1 acre and the parcels are zoned rural residential. If R8 is approved, are the neighbors guaranteed on that what is being shown to be built will really happen? I'm concerned about the traffic, both on the small, unstriped Hicks Lane and on Dobbins Pike, especially in the months when school is in session. Every morning and every afternoon, 14 large yellow school buses go up and down the lane, taking children to Schaefer Middle and Benny Bills Elementary, using the small, narrow county lane as a circle and a way for them to get to the schools. Traffic is already present in this area due to the 2 schools, the county health department, the county animal shelter, and a funeral home. The plan to widen the lane is commendable, but please ask for a better job than what's been done previously. The edges of the lane are already crumbling from the recent job due to the water that runs down to the deep ditches on both sides of the lane. So I'm glad they're talking about widening the lane, but let's do a better job than before. And of course, as an agricultural family, I am disturbed that Sumner County is once again losing pristine land, farmland, that they're going to use for the development. I do applaud the developers for meeting with us and for moving the exit to Hicks Lane to align with the yet unknown road through Schaefer Middle School property. They moved that from right across from a neighbor, so she won't get the traffic lights coming out of the development into her house. They've moved it so that it'll exit onto Joe Schaefer School property. But I do wonder what might happen if the school decided to close and lock that gate, because there is a gate already present, and the school perhaps might want to do that. And selfishly, I'm concerned if all the storm water will flow onto our property, since I'm downhill. And having taught at Gallatin High School with Mr. Neil Dice, who is a builder, he said you can't control water, and the water will run downhill. It already does. And could an additional buffer between my property and the development be done, since I am the property owner that will be affected? Regretfully, the neighbors know the development's going to happen. We just want it to be good for everybody. Thank you. Oh, and the decorations in Gallatin for Christmas, great job. Thank you.
Good evening, Mayor Brown and Council. My name is Michelle Juvance. I live at 1335 Long Hollow Pike, and I wanted to kind of piggyback on some things that this previous speaker just said. I think that some of you probably don't know that about a year ago, I had to hire a law firm to represent my interests and my property. It was because of the same engineering firm that's doing the Hicks Lane development, and it was because of the Planning Commission. And you know that back in 2017, when I started coming to the meetings, it was because of Kensington Downs being proposed to be built next to our property. And that's how I first started coming to the meetings. We met with the developer. They made a lot of promises to us, a lot of promises in writing. They were giving us an extra buffer. They were giving us a berm with extra plantings. They promised not to cut down the trees that were existing on the between my neighbor and that the property that was going to be developed. It was a fence row of trees, and that was all in writing. And this was approved, the FMDP was approved by the City Council in 2018. A year ago, November, which would have been in 2024 in November, the final master development plan for the last phase, which is next to my property, came in front of the Planning Commission with all of the promises completely removed. The FMDP did not match the PMDP, and all was written. It was in writing. The Planning Commission was completely fine with rubber stamping the changes. I got up in front of them, as did my neighbor. My neighbor has also hired that law firm, by the way. Got up in front of them during the work session, told them this was all in writing, this was promised to us, it's all been changed. They didn't care. They didn't listen to me, they didn't care. Two of you are on the Planning Commission, so you already know about this because I've spoken to the Planning Commission about this over the past year. So I, as a citizen, had to spend thousands of dollars, hire a lawyer, just to get the Planning Commission to listen to me. So I hope that the people that are in the room that are also hearing me address you are hearing what I am saying, because CSDG has made a lot of promises. When this Hicks Lane came in front of you to be annexed, they said, oh, we're just going to annex this. We don't want to do anything. I remember they said, there's no development attached to this. We just want to be annexed, which is not true, because there was a very similar development by the same engineering company previously that was turned down or removed or paused or whatever happened, but now it's back. So I'm just saying that I have learned that there are a lot of empty promises made. Things are taken back later. I actually believe that these promises are made purposely, not being, they don't ever expect to keep their promises. I think that they plan to not keep their promises. And that is what I truly believe, because by the time the FMDP comes around, nobody's paying attention anymore. And it was going to get rubber stamped by the Planning Commission, no problem. Chop down all the trees, no problem. They've been there for 100 years, no big deal, even though it's in writing that they were going to keep it. Take away the berm, no problem. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that anymore. But it's not okay, because it harms the neighbors, it harms the people like me and my husband and like a lot of people around town who are being harmed by promises that are made and then not kept. I'm also really concerned about a few things that are on the agenda. There's an annexation way out on Hartsville Pike that is just, why are we just like going out to the edges of practically the end of where the urban growth boundary is for Gallatin, and just saying we're going to just annex in more land and put in more development, because we already know that it's too much too fast right now is what's going on in Gallatin. We don't need to go all the way to the edges of where the urban growth boundary it's almost to the urban growth boundary edge. We don't need to do that and then hop over like miles of county to like annex in a little piece of property to, it doesn't even look like it's contiguous. My time? Okay.
Have it turned up very loud, I'm sorry.
I just have something for you. This is for you.
Ever subpoena more?
Mayor, I've just served you with a lawsuit.
Imagine that.
My name is Paul Rewald. I live at 157 Winslow Court. And did I understand you correctly that you're delaying or you're taking item 1 off the menu?
No, sir, it was suggested, but it did not
Okay,
pass the
then
vote.
let me speak to the Greensboro Village proposed development. 2 things which concern me. 1, 600 living units on 43 acres. When I thought this land was zoned for single-family dwellings, maybe it's not anymore. I don't know. But it requires a variance if it is. Some of these buildings are going to be 5 stories high, which is, I thought, was over the limit of 3 stories allowed in Gallatin. Is it? I'm not sure. And there's 10 units that are going to be 4 to 5 stories, 6 units, 3 to 4 stories, and 9 units that are going to be 2-story townhouses, primarily because the last time this item came up, the people at Gracie Lake in Fairview objected so much that those units facing Gracie Lake were reduced in size. That's a lot of people and a lot of housing units for 43 and a half acres. The second concern I have is the traffic that this is going to generate. It's already troublesome getting out of Fairview and the retreat at Fairview. Bringing in 600 living units with maybe 600, 900, 1,200 cars, including workers at the medical facilities there, it's going to be a mess. And when I talked to one of the developers of this over at Vol State, when they had the meeting over there, his comment was, "It's not my problem." So I'm saying it's your problem then, if he doesn't feel any responsibility for it. I think this is too much, too soon. We got enough apartments and townhouses in Gallatin. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Heidi Horio. I live at 221 Wood Lake Drive, also in a similar neighborhood to the gentleman before me. And I want to say how much I admire everyone who gets up here and talks. It's kind of a big deal and difficult. I'm nervous. And I just know that for every person who talks here, there's at least 100 in their neighborhoods who feel very similar as they've talked, but somehow they don't get the nerve to come, or their just schedule doesn't allow. Anyway, I'm here to express my opposition to the proposed building project near our neighborhood, the area between Greensboro and Greenlee. I believe part of it's for retirement community, medical buildings, and maybe some of the other things the gentleman said. I understand there'll also be some kind of housing built across from the knoll next to that Cave coffee shop, which is currently a lovely wooded area, some of the last in like our general area. While I understand the need for responsible growth, I'm not opposed to growth. This project raises several serious concerns for those of us who live nearby. There are numerous recent or upcoming building projects in the works in our area, such as Caldwell Apartments, Foxland, Kennesaw, Aintree, Knoll at Fairview, the Villas on the Green, Vinewood Townhomes, and this small city of apartments that just got built across from the Lowe's on Nashville Pike. Without even these being completed and people moving in, there's already significant congestion and traffic on Nashville Pike several times a day. At 4:15 tonight, the Pike was backed up to the Honda dealership headed towards town, going very slow. With the hundreds of housing apartments, which could equal thousands of residents currently being built and scheduled to be built, that will add significant congestion and traffic. And will only worsen safety and commute times. And that doesn't even mention the Target going in there and everything. It just all kinds of adds up. Second, I know that the new buildings made new needs for power, sewage, waste removal, water, schools, police department, fire department, and I just haven't heard about updates on infrastructure to support all those. Can the schools hold the kids? Can we can't expand Nashville Pike, so it's not sure how we can improve infrastructure for that, but I'm hoping that's all being planned for, but it doesn't seem like it is. And kind of side note is with hundreds of new housing units already being built in close proximity to our area of town, it feels like we're absorbing a disproportionate amount of development. What we aren't seeing is kind of like this comparable investment in parks and green space. Other towns nearby seem to have a lot of parks and things, and I feel like the main park near us is not so near us. It's way down over Miracle Park. We do have that little Nat Caldwell Park thing. Anyway, with so many new residents moving in, now more than ever, we need accessible outdoor areas that support community health and recreation. Anyway, for all these reasons, I respectfully ask council to reconsider the project. Thank you.
Thank you. You did a lovely job.
Those of you that know me, I think I told that man that's not my problem.
Name and address, please.
Ma'am?
Name and address, please, for the record.
L.A. Green, Gallatin. I think I would say that to somebody? Hell no.
At least you're talking a little and saying that.
Hey.
For 6 months.
Over at Ball State.
He's been in Florida for 6 months.
Anyone else wishing to speak under public recognition this evening? Okay, seeing no one, public recognition is closed. And now we will move to a special presentation from our Gallatin Department of Electricity. Mark Kimball. For those of you who don't know, Mark Kimball is the general manager at GDE, and he has lots of good things to share.
What now?
I said you have lots of good things to share.
I did lots of good things this year. It's hard to hear right here. Funny. We have had a good year at the Department of Electricity. Just a couple of the big
highlights. I'd like to invite everybody to our grand opening of our truck dock facility this Thursday at 3 o'clock if you want to come. We'll have several excellent speakers there to commemorate our new facility. We've been in that building on Jones Street since 1967, and this is the first time we've added on to it. So we've over 50 years, so that's kind of amazing. When we got in the building, we had just a little over 5,000 customers. Now we have almost 28,000 customers, so it's probably past time to upgrade facilities. Also that, we've also completed almost 10 years of without a lost time accident at the Gallatin Department of Electricity, which is truly amazing, and I'm going to knock on wood about that. We're in a dangerous business, and for the sake of the linemen and everybody at the department, that's an amazing record. I'm here tonight to present financials. We received a great audit from our auditing firm. If you have the audit in your packet and you want to turn to page 42, I will just read real quickly. During our audit, we did not identify any deficiencies or in internal control that we consider to be internal weaknesses. And then on the next page, The other piece of that is the results of our test disclose no instances of noncompliance or other matters that are required to be reported under government auditing standards. So we received a clean audit. And then the other piece that I would like to point out from, I forget which page it's on, but it's in there somewhere, that the department paid over $1 million in lieu of taxes to the city. So we receive no funds from the city, and we pay in lieu of taxes to the city. Are there any questions from the council for the electric department?
Council, anyone with questions for Mr. Kimball? Thoughts?
No question. Mark, thanks. Good job. I saw your new buildings last time I stopped by, and I think it's a great addition, so I appreciate what you're doing for us. Thank you, Mark. And your team, too.
Thank you. Y'all have a good night.
You do too, and Merry Christmas to you. Okay, with that, we're going to move on to mayor's comments. I do certainly want to recognize the efforts of the last week, and I know that all the department heads and their employees have worked very hard. I particularly want to mention the Public Works employees. They have done a great job putting out Christmas decorations and moving Christmas decorations and repairing Christmas decorations and making everything work. And so, Mr. Priest, please pass that on to your employees. Also want to mention Jenna Lenz from Rosemary Bates, mentioned them before. They were the little goddesses that made all the sparkle happen in Gallatin this year, and they did a great job. Last week we had the tree lighting, we had the employee Christmas luncheon, we had Tuba Christmas, and I am particularly grateful for Angela Davis in my office because she works her tail off to make everybody have a wonderful event. And of course we got some weather thrown at us with Tuba, but we navigated and it went very, very well. And it is not up, Mr. Hayes. It went very, very well, and so last week was a lot of things, but there are a lot of things coming up this week too. Also, thanks to all of the committee that worked on the employee luncheon and decorated the trees and did the showcase downstairs. They did a beautiful job there. Want to mention that we did celebrate the Shalom Zone Daycare. Again, compliments to Ms. Bates for spearheading that. She got all kinds of praise by folks at that event. It looks fabulous. I said that day, Gallatin Daycare has such a tremendous reputation, and I know that parents are going to have a lot of confidence being able to send their children to an extension of that existing daycare in a really nice, neat facility. And a lot of people don't think about this, but the two major barriers to employment are transportation and child care. And so having more child care available to parents on a sliding scale will be able to help more people be able to work in jobs that they may not otherwise be able to. So we're very excited about that. It has been a grand joint effort and really exciting. And I think that was all that I wanted to make sure I mentioned. But the Christmas elves are our Gallatin City employees who have just hustled in every direction. Saturday they were doing shop with the cop, with the police department. The fire department had graduation and a party. And everybody's been just, like I said, being Christmas elves all around. Events coming up that I want to make sure you're aware of. Mr. Kimball mentioned the Department of Electricity ribbon cutting for the new bay. That's at 3 p.m. on the 11th. The Police Department Christmas parties this week. There's also a National Alliance on Mental Health Christmas party that's happening here in Gallatin. It's a regional alliance that's happening on the 11th as well. There is the Wreaths Across America ceremony. Saturday is going to be a really busy day in Gallatin. If you are new to the area and you are unaware, there is a Christmas parade. It goes through the middle of town. It happens at noon. It starts near the hospital, goes right smack through the middle of town, and ends at Gallatin High School. And traffic is stopped. So if you have errands you need to do and you don't have any interest in the Christmas parade, do them early or do them late. Don't try and do them midday on Saturday. Prior to the Christmas parade on Saturday at 10 a.m. is the Wreaths Across America celebration, and that is at the Gallatin City Cemetery. That happens at 10 a.m. If you're new here, or if you're not new here and you've never attended Wreaths Across America, it is probably my favorite event that we do all year long. And I won't get to stay long this year, but I will get to be there. And so I would encourage you to attend if you have the opportunity. happening that same day, there are pictures with Santa, sponsored by the Critter Clinic at the Critter Clinic from 4 to 7. There is Christmas by Candlelight at Cradfont, not in the city, but a great way to experience the holidays. On the 14th, that Sunday, there is an open house at Historic Trousdale House. That's from 2 until 5. The Gallatin Daycare that we just mentioned, the new one at the Shalom Zone, will be having an open house from 2 until 4 p.m. On the 17th, it's Councilman Carter's birthday. And coming up on the 18th, there is a Christmas Carol, a live radio play at the Palace Theater. 2 showings on that day, one at 2, one at 7. Friday, the 19th, is the Public Works Christmas Breakfast. There's also a Christmas by Candlelight at Wynwood, another county historic treasure, but a great way to experience the holidays in this area. And then this is really neat, and I wanted to share it with you because it's tremendous that's here in our community. But on the 19th and 20th, and on the 29th and 30th, the Music City Classic NCAA Division III basketball will have their tournament going at Welch College, and so we're delighted to welcome them here to Gallatin. And then there's one other Christmas event on the 20th, Christmas Through the Ages, 11 to 4, and Christmas by Candlelight from 6 to 9, also at Wynwood. And so there's a lot going on. I hope you fully immerse yourself in the community. Would remind you to shop local. There are so many fabulous local merchants that are independent, merchants, services, restaurants, so many gifts that you can buy locally that will delight your friends and family. So I would encourage you to do that. With that, I'm going to conclude Mayor's comments and move on to the regular agenda. And the first item is Ordinance 02512-70, and it's an ordinance of the City of Gallatin, Sumner County, approving a preliminary master development plan for Greensboro Village mixed residential development within the Greensboro Village PUD on 2 parcels totaling 43.50 acres, north and south of Greenlee Boulevard, south of Greensboro Drive, authorizing the revision to be indicated on the official zoning atlas, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing severability, providing for an effective date. And with that, I introduce our city planner, Mr. Brian Rose. Did I say something wrong?
Excuse me, Mayor, I just was curious if the item 3 was supposed to go before this.
I thought we were going to do that one second.
Okay, so it's this one first? Okay.
But thank you for checking.
Sorry about my misunderstanding there. All right. Brian Rose, City Planner. This is a request to approve a preliminary master development plan for Greensboro Village mixed residential development and amend the Greensboro Village PUD on 2 parcels, 43.5 plus or minus acres for 35 active adult townhomes, 440 active adult dwelling units, and 125 assisted living / memory care facility units, and 6,500 square foot medical office located north and south of Greenlee Boulevard, north and south of Greenlee Boulevard and south of Greensboro Drive. Just for reference, those streets are Greenlee Boulevard here, so you'll be north and south of Greenlee, and then Greensboro on this side, and there's a smaller street, Stonebridge, in between there. There are essentially 2 things happening again with this proposal, the PMDP and a PUD amendment. The zoning on the property is currently MRO PUD, R6 PUD, and R15 PUD. So you'll kind of see that here. You have the MRO PUD in orange, the R6 PUD in light brown, and then the R15 PUD in this tan color just right along the edge there and a little bit right there. These districts are somewhat irrelevant as far as the density and things go, just because the Greensboro Village PUD document governs this property. And so that kind of determines what they can and cannot do with the property. The PUD document allows for multifamily units, healthcare assisted living, and medical office as permitted uses. This request includes a major amendment to the Greensboro Village PUD since it increases the overall density. Development allocations for the property per 2015 density swap allowed the developer to move 304 multifamily units up north of Nashville Pike called the Edison Apartments. That took some units from this southern property area, Tract B, and moved them up to Tract A, which is up here in this yellow area up here. That consisted of 304 multifamily units up to that area. They were still allowed to build some residential on the south side in Tract B, which is again here. But many of those have already been built. 211 units for the Knoll at Fairview, and the 25 units at Grassland Downs Park subdivision, and then also 132 units at the Retreat at Fairview, which leaves 135 units left for Tract B, which is basically your southern portion of this part of the development. The rest of it, you can kind of see it on this part, kind of comes up into here, and it's where we've already seen existing development occur. The applicant's requesting 475 units, which is 340 more than they originally allowed. We're not counting the 125 memory care, assisted living facility units as units. They are more like bedrooms for that facility and not considered dwelling units. But this would change the overall density from Tract B, which originally had an overall density of 2.88 dwelling units per acre to 4.83 dwelling units per acre. And again, this is the overall density of Tract B, not the density of what this property would be. That density of the property, as it's calculated, would be 11.67 if you're not counting the, if you are counting the assisted living facility area with it, and it's at 12.9 if you're not counting the assisted living facility. Plan Gallatin designates the property as general urban community character area, which ranges from 2 to 4 stories and allows 5 to 15 dwelling units per acre. Plan Gallatin designates the northern part of the property as part of the suburban community character area, which ranges between 2 to 5 dwelling units per acre, but does allow for a mixture of single-family and multifamily dwellings with appropriate landscaping and design buffers for traffic and noise mitigation. Again, access is from Greenlee, Greensboro Drive, and Stonebridge Drive. City Council is tasked with determining if the preliminary master development plan complies with the overall intent and development strategies of the comprehensive plan as it's submitted. MRO zoning requires at least 3,000 square feet per unit or 14.52 units per acre. And the R6 zoning district allows up to 15 dwelling units per acre, with 50% of the 5.6 acres of floodplain area removed. The proposed density based on acreage within the PMDP, again, is 11.67 units per acre, including the assisted living facility, and 12.9 units per acre with the assisted living removed. The plan includes, let's see if I can get to this page here. Plan includes an extension of a city-owned greenway through this parcel to the on the north side. And then in addition to that, there would be a greenway proposed along the floodplain, along the back side of these units. And that would be a greenway that would be maintained by the development, not city-owned. Buffer yards are included in accordance with the underlying zoning. In most cases, they consist of a 15-foot landscape buffer. In one instance, there's a 20-foot buffer. In another instance, there's a 10-foot buffer. That's between the two MRO areas. Architectural elevations do not meet the 70% brick or stone requirement. The owner and applicant does request approval of a conceptual alternative architecture plan. I'll sort of skip to their pattern book here. So their pattern book kind of gives you an idea of what they would do for architectural elements. But again, it would not be meeting the 70% brick and stone requirement. So they're asking for a conceptual alternative architectural plan approval. The applicant is also requesting an exception to the building heights limit for development to allow 3, 4, and 5-story buildings. The MRO and most residential zoning districts only allow a maximum of 35 feet. The applicant is requesting a 68-foot maximum building height for the 4 to 5-story split buildings and a 52-foot maximum building height for the 3 to 4-story split buildings. Parking for the mixed use will be accommodated through the use of garages, driveways, and surface parking spots. All parking will be further evaluated at the FMDP stage for each section of the development. Requirements for parking are as follows. Townhomes require 2 spaces per unit. Multifamily units require a different number based on the number of bedrooms. Medical office requires 1 space per 200 square feet. And assisted living requires 1 space per 3 residents. The applicant appeared before the Planning Commission on July 29th, 2024. The Planning Commission voted to recommend approval by the City Council by a vote of 4-2. The applicant subsequently got scheduled for a council meeting, and that was last fall, about a year ago. But prior to the meeting, requested to defer indefinitely, stating that they would be making some changes to the plan and coming back. They held a neighborhood meeting a couple of months ago. No substantial changes have been made to the plan, but they have asked to be put back on the agenda and are requesting approval before you tonight, or at least consideration. I know the approval process will be several meetings long. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have. I know Gary Vogren of Kaiser Vogren is also here representing the applicant and has a presentation to make.
On to the representative for the presentation from them. That's work session. That's fine. We'll welcome him.
Just the country. Thank you all. While Brian's looking at it. Good evening, Mayor, Council members. My name is Gary Vogren with KVD, Kaiser Vogren Design. We are landscape architects, land planners, and presenting this project on for our applicant, LA Green and Anderson Green. But allow me to just walk through the plan a little bit, talk about the details of the plan, show some elements of the plan I'd like to highlight in terms of the mixed residential age restricted. And then show a 3-minute video just to kind of show a 3D visual that's very powerful that could assist in the discussion of this item. So let's go here. Flip this. Just use this? Let's go to the first plan. Not the, we're just going to the plan first. Oh, gotcha. I'm just going to toggle ahead. To the site plan, please. Okay, that's good. Thank you. Appreciate you. Okay, happy holidays, by the way. Thank you for the time for me to present this. But Greensboro Village is a visionary mixed residential age-restricted adult lifestyle community. This age-restricted adult lifestyle community will feature several outdoor amenities, trails, greenways, a variety of residential dwelling units, assisted living, memory care facilities, 6,500 square feet of medical office, as Brian had mentioned. At land design, as we're doing our land planning, land design, we look closely at the lay of the land, the topography, the floodplain, the streams, the character, the buffers. That all goes into the layout of the plan we're looking at. When we look at plans, we would like to preserve open space, maintain open space, create open space where we can. With that, a series of natural and amenitized green spaces, about 26.6 acres of the 43.5 acres is open space. 61% of the site is open space. You look at this plan, you see a lot of green, a lot of floodplain, a lot of trees. We'll link all that with scenic trails, picturesque landscape, connect the greater sidewalk system, networks, and provide walkability connections to nearby retail, a movie theater, grocery store, pharmacy, coffee shops, convenience retail, and restaurants. The site's close proximity and connectivity to these amenities provides added value for fostering a vibrant and active neighborhood. The current Greensboro Village PUD that Brian had mentioned allows for a mix of commercial and residential units. The request of this PMDP is to replace potential commercial development with age-restricted residential units, assisted living, and medical office. As identified by planning staff, the preliminary master development plan, PMDP, is in agreement and consistent with the intent and land use recommendations of the Plan Gallatin, including general urban and suburban character areas. As Brian mentioned, we had a neighborhood meeting per Planning Commission request, some council members as well, that was held on November 6th of this year, 2-hour session, open house, townhouse format, with about 40 to 50 residents attending. So it was a good turnout at Volunteer State, just to get insight about the project, answer any questions that they had, walk through the plan, showed the 3D video. A lot of discussion about building architecture, character, style, height, preservation of trees, open space, connectivity, active adult. What does that really mean? So we went through all that with the neighbors. As Brian had mentioned, we made a couple plan updates. Since the Planning Commission last July, we increased the minimum buffer yards along the southeast corner of the site adjacent Bay Point and Gracie Lake. We increased the buffer yards from 15 feet to 20 feet, as well as 20 feet to 30 feet, and I can show that in the master plan as well. And we also prepared a 3D video that's overlaid the drone photography that denotes the proposed site, building location massing. It's a very powerful tool, but I'll talk about that as we get into that. Being as land planners, landscape architects, we are part of ULI, the Urban Land Institute. We attend sessions with ULI. They talk about emerging trends for the nationwide, Nashville in particular. I just want to highlight some things that came out of that report for emerging trends for ULI Nashville. This report, and it talks about specifically senior housing. High demand, the demand is high, driven by aging demographics, and will continue to grow as the first baby boomers turn 80 in 2026. While occupancy is at record levels, supply is limited, potentially creating a shortage in the coming years. The market is also seeing demand for more diverse, middle-income options and increase in active adult communities. With the first baby boomers turning 80 in 2026, demand for senior housing is approaching a historic inflection point. Limited new supply, evolving care models, and shifting consumer preferences are driving record high occupancy levels. The community benefits of age-restricted housing and assisted living, memory care. Age-restricted residential seniors housing allows people to age in place within their community, helps families stay closer, geographically together. Aging parents and grandparents have options to live independently or in assisted living, near children, grandchildren, other friends and family members. Age-restricted residential senior housing developments can bring several benefits to a growing community, such as diverse housing options, which we're showing in this plan. Diversity in housing options within the neighborhood accommodate different life stages and preferences. This can attract a wider range of residents and contribute to more vibrant and inclusive community. A stable community, as I mentioned. Senior housing developments often create a stable community environment. Residents tend to stay longer, fostering a sense of community, continuity, and neighborly support. The stability can contribute to overall stability and attractiveness to the neighborhood. Some of the people spoken in the audience mentioned about open space, infrastructure. Well, that's the beauty of active adult housing, senior housing, assisted living, memory care. Unlike other younger demographic projects, senior housing developments have lower impact on local schools, transportation infrastructure, lower parking demands, more trails, green space, open space amenitized, health and well-being. Purpose-built senior housing often includes features that promote health and well-being, which we're showing on this master plan, fitness centers, walking trails, ease of access to healthcare services. This contributes to an overall healthier community. When we look at this master plan, we also look at what is the 5 to 10 minute walk when we're looking at master plan community. With this development being in proximity to the retail uses, convenience retail, the pharmacy, grocery, you're within a 5 to 10 minute walk based on your location on the plan. So if I can go to, you're good, thank you. So I'll just kind of walk through the elements of the plan. Brian talked about the number of units and assisted living and dwelling units, but providing options in terms of use. So on the plan on the screen here, the upper right, behind the Publix and adjacent to the movie theater, that is where the, oh, there we go. Thank you. Appreciate you. Good, even better. Okay, so this is the 125-bed assisted living memory care location, Publix to the front, movie theater behind it. So 125 beds, assisted living memory care with some internal courtyards. This U-shaped building is kind of the next step below senior housing. This is age-restricted active adult also. This is a 3-story building, 150 units, highly amenitized. This allows opportunities for, it has retail in the building. So think about this U-shaped building, this central little knuckle in the middle, as I call it. That is the retail lobby, salon, hair care, barber, dining hall. So you can either prep your own food in this building or have it served to you at a dining hall as well. High concierge services, highly amenitized internally and externally. We're showing a lot of open space around this building for courtyards, potential pool, amenities for senior active adults. Then, as Brian had mentioned, the greenway going through here as well. So a lot of open space preserved. Obviously, we have the power line going through there, but open space, roadway connectivity. Then we move to the mixed residential portion along Greenlee Boulevard. So the larger buildings fronting Greenlee Boulevard, and I'll show this in the video, those are 3-story front. So there's 3 stories, probably 43 to 52 feet tall, depending on the architecture. All 3 stories along the front, Greenlee, these larger buildings, 30 units. There's 36 parking spaces below the building. So on the high side along Greenlee, 3 stories. On the back side, it's 4 stories. But it's still 3 stories residential. On the back side is the 4 stories just parking below the building. What's the beauty of that is that it works with the grade of the site, because this whole site from Greenlee Boulevard down to the floodplain, that drops significantly. So again, using the lay of the land, let the building speak in terms of stepping the grade, allow the parking to be on the backside. So all the buildings facing Greenlee Boulevard, nice streetscape approach, building on the low side. Then there's a little building blue, hard to point. That's the 6,500 square feet, right on the roundabout of Greenlee Boulevard. As you traverse towards Bay Point, it transitions in height from 3 stories, or these buildings here along Greenlee, to a product that is 2 to 2.5 stories, call it, mimicking across the knoll. Very similar, but also note that these are 2 to 2.5 stories, so 3 stories on the front here. Also note Greenlee Boulevard, these units are 3 to 5 feet above grade, so they're kind of elevated above the street as well, so a comparison in height there. And then we transition to 2-story, 2.5 story against Bay Point and Gracie Lake. So this is another residential project in this cluster, about 35 units. And then along the backside is the 4 to 5 story product that is very similar to The Reverie at Foxland Harbor, and I've got some images of that. But again, it's 4 stories along the front, 5 stories on the back, but the 5th story in the back is really to allow for 16 parking spaces underneath the building. So it's 4 stories of residential with parking on the backside or underneath the building, all kind of tucked in along the greenway, floodplain, tree save along this area. So that's what's taking up the grade of that building there. Let me flip to the architecture. Oh, this one here. This.
Sorry to cut you off, but you say 16 units per building, parking units under?
Good question. Oh, wrong button. There we go. These buildings here along Greenlee are 30 units per building, 3 stories, with 36 spaces below. These more square buildings, matching Reverie Point, are 11 units, 3 stories, or 4 stories, 11 units with 16 spaces below the building, with additional on-street parking for guests and handicap and things of that nature. So 11 units on these buildings here. It's basically 3 units per floor for 3 floors, 9 units, top level 2 units, penthouse. So 11 units total over 4 stories with 16 spaces below, under the building on the 5th floor on the low side, and then ancillary parking in the middle. Thank you. Go next slide, please. Oh, go back. I'm sorry. Oh, there we go. Yeah. So this kind of highlights the open space element. As I mentioned, the site is 43.5 acres. We're preserving 26.66 acres, I think it is, 61% of open space. And within this open space, it's a mix of trails, connectivity, amenitized pool, event lawns, pavilions, seating, trails, just elements that activate the age-restricted community. Just more outdoor space, more active space, community gardens, things of that nature. Next slide, please. Thank you. So then, as Brian had mentioned, we started to get into the architectural character. And at KVD, we've worked on several projects. This kind of reflects some of the projects we've worked on in the past. But a mix of residential, mix of building materials highlighted in this screen here, but I'll also go to the next slide, just kind of showing character development. And we can ask questions later as you need to. But some of these are projects we've worked on. These are also pulled from, a lot of these are pulled from Berry Farms, which we master planned in Franklin, Tennessee, to shows that. So this is kind of the townhome vision right here, a mix of building materials allowing flexibility in different product types and styles. Next slide, please. This shows the 3-story, 4-story, 4-story, 5-story. So the building on the bottom left is the 4 to 5-story building that is at the Reverie at Foxland Harbor. That is a 4-story residential building. This is the footprint we're showing on the plan, 4 stories on the front side, 5 stories on the back side. And you can see the lower level is the parking below the building, plus or minus 16 spaces. The building in the middle, I'll use this one, point to it. Typical 3-story building on the front for the buildings along Greenlee Boulevard. And then a little bit small on the screen here, but this image is a good detail. It's 3 stories on the front, 4 stories in the back, and it shows how the parking is below the building on the low side to accommodate the plus or minus 36 spaces. And then the additional as-needed standard stall parking spaces. So a 3 to 4 split building and a 4 to 5 split building, the mix, as shown on the documents. Next slide, please. Assisted living, memory care to show some of the character we've worked on in different communities across the United States, but highly amenitized, just for the user and the residents and the families, showing a mix of outdoor courtyards, pools, active play areas, event lawns, things of that nature, memory care, kind of visionary gardens, community gardens. Please. The medical office, we have 6,500 square feet, just showing some character of what that could be within that spot along Greenlee Boulevard at the roundabout. Okay, last video, and then we can open up to any questions you may have. So this was a powerful, could you, before you start, can you hit that little button on the side and hit the speed? See the 3 dots to the right? Yeah, click that. Go to video speed and hit 0.5. And don't play just yet. I want to talk about this. Okay. So what we did here, and this was a powerful tool that was very helpful for the residents when they showed up the evening at the neighborhood meeting. What we've done here is we've drone footage of the site as it sits today, took that drone footage, dropped in the contours and topography of the site, overlaid the master plan. So the trees you're seeing on the backside along the retreat and towards Greenlee Lake, those are the existing trees that are there today. No embellishment. These are actual photographs, drone images. We dropped the buildings in, the trees along Greenlee Boulevard. Those are the heights that are out there today. But we wanted to make sure that this was relevant to what you're seeing from adjacent neighbors, what you're seeing along the roadway, the building relationship, the height, the massing. But go ahead and show that through. We're starting at the Greenlee Boulevard roundabout is where we are. We're going to kind of circumvent clockwise around the site. So we're going down Greenlee Boulevard. These are the 3-story units in the front along Greenlee Boulevard, and you can kind of catch a glimpse of the 4 on the backside, but you'll see it around as we flip around. But the trees along Greenlee Boulevard bring the buildings up to the street, parking relegated to the rear or underneath the building. Then we transition to the 2.5-story townhomes adjacent Bay Point for that transition of use and height. Those are existing trees along the buffers there. As I mentioned, we increased the buffer in this area to 30 feet along Bay Point. So it's a combination of existing trees, supplement trees, fill in the gaps where needed, but meet the buffer requirements per the city of Gallatin. So then we're looping back towards Gracie Lake in the backside of Bay Point here. It'll spin back around, but shows the massing and relationship to the adjacent residences. And again, these are all trees from drone photography, so nothing embellished except for stuff inside the development, which are proposed trees. So the golf course along the edges here. So we're circling back past the 2-story townhomes back to these 4 to 5-story buildings here. You can see the height relative to the trees, the buffer, saving the floodplain, the stream, the trail, and you can see the retreat to the south there looking back into it, maintaining that cover, but see how those buildings are tucked in there. Using the grade, as I mentioned, 4 stories front, 5-story back, but 4 stories of residential. Now you can see the 4 stories along the building along Greenlee Boulevard, which is really just 3 stories residential over parking on the backside, which makes it 5 stories. I mean 4 stories along Greenlee Boulevard. Circling back towards Greenlee Boulevard, the buildings on the left are the 3-story front, 4-story in the back, and then we'll circle back up to the circle there as well. The 6,500 square foot medical building right on the green of the roundabout. And again, all these units are 5 to 10 minute walk to the retail adjacent, the convenience retail. That's what these type developments are looking for, to be close to proximity to these type uses and walkability. And again, as I mentioned, preservation of open space and trails and connectivity, the #1 amenities for any development, specifically this one as well. But that's my presentation. Thank you for taking the time to listen to me speak, and I'll address any questions the best I can.
Questions from this body?
I'm sorry?
I was asking questions
gotcha.
for you.
It is hard to hear up here.
I'm sorry.
Oh, you're fine.
Questions, y'all? Realize it probably takes some studying and digesting.
Sure. Understood. There's a lot of information there.
Traffic study done on this yet?
We did, sir. We did, it was part of it was submitted for just, it's a PMDP, but we did a full traffic study as well in terms of both parking, traffic. The end result was really the infrastructure as is suffices, and all the new streets we're creating, the connectivity, it's really just standard common stop control systems based on the new streets, whether tying to existing streets, but no other further infrastructure. No further infrastructure improvements.
Does planning have that study, or?
They have the bones of it. I think we did just a distribution and a percentage flow.
So with the plan, it says that this is an age-restricted, or in the vision, it states that this age-restricted adult lifestyle community. How, I know you mentioned like 55 and over, but the vision says age-restricted. So how are we to ensure that it is going to be a 55 and over community?
Yeah, there's going to have to be policies put in place for age restriction. I mean, that is common with these type developments for active adult, senior housing. So if this ever has to go back before this board, the council, planning commission, if that age-restricted element is taken away, it has to go back to the very beginning. But the intent is to take it through age-restricted, and there's things that need to be done to make sure that those residents are indeed moving into this community.
To build on that question for legal, is that something we can enforce? Or if they get the FMDP and decide not to go on 55 plus, what recourse we have?
It's really something that comes through the deed that the developer will set up. It's not really, you can talk to Brian about that, but I think that was discussed at planning. It's really something that the developer puts in the deed. Brian?
Go ahead.
Yeah, our department wouldn't control that necessarily, although, like he said, you know, they can set up deed restrictions and things like that. But what we would have to control is if they did try to come back to change that, there would be different parking requirements. There would be impacts to the schools that may not have been contemplated because, you know, you don't have school children with your 55 and older population. So, I mean, there might be some impacts that, you know, we would have to reconsider, and so we would definitely have to have them come back and take a look at things, but they wouldn't be able to just make that change without coming back to us.
I say something real quick. Hey, Anderson Green, Green Little. We are getting a 55 and up age-restricted development approved, meaning we're not trying to. I don't see a world where we get this approved and come to you for an FMDP and then try to flip it last minute. At no point have we said we're coming here for a market rent residential community. And I would think we're not trying to deed restrict it. It would be done at the PMDP, FMDP level. So my understanding of it is if I get a project approved for a 55 and up or assisted living project, that's what it is. I can't get it entitled, have my entitlements in place, and then sell it to you, and then you go do what you want with it. That's not how that works, correct?
Yes, but it's through the deed restriction. The city can't really control that, but they could control if you were to change it at the FMDP stage, which doesn't come back to this body unless there's a major amendment. I think that would be a major amendment.
It would be a major amendment. It would have to come back through.
It would come back here.
Where y'all would have to hear it again, and then y'all would make that decision, right? So we're not trying to come in here and just dance a 55 in front of y'all and then have it change last minute. That's something that you would have to approve.
But also going forward, it is through, I mean, there will be a restriction in the deed so that going forward when the properties are sold from the developer to the individuals and going forward, there will be deed restrictions. I would think it would have to be. I've never seen one that didn't have a restriction in the deed.
I think maybe I was wrong, but you started by saying we're not planning on doing deed restriction. So, and I don't think the age restriction.
I'm not their attorney, so.
No, that's what, and I don't think I read the age restriction being a major part of the criteria for major amendments. So I have comments. I don't have any more questions for you guys.
And when I say a deed restriction, that is for the units that would be owner occupied. They would have to have deed restriction. If there are units that are not owner occupied, there would have to be some type of a association that would control all that going forward so that they can.
I'm not going to restrict the deed. That's foolish. It would kill the city in the future, and you can't sell it. We will entitle this property based on your rules and regs. Again, it will be entitled as we ask, hopefully, but we cannot go up there. I cannot sit here and tell you I'm going to do something, and out there in front of God and everybody, I start throwing up something else. That makes no sense whatsoever. And you know I can't do that. So
Okay, Mr. Green, when I'm saying a deed restriction, yes, when you sell the first unit to someone, you can sell it to them as 55 plus. But going forward, unless there's something in place that would restrict that from being sold to someone that is 55 and older, going forward, it would no longer be age restricted, unless you have some type of association or you have something.
That's what the city's for.
We're not going to be checking every time a unit is sold. That's not what the city does. We never check to see who's buying properties in the city. I mean, that would keep our planning department very, very busy. That's a private matter that we never get into.
I don't think we have to, I'm not going to argue because I'm not smart as you are, but I think...
I'll be happy to talk to your attorney to see how you're planning to keep that age restricted going forward, but without something in the deed.
As long as we entitle it by the city, it's a city ordinance. It's a city ordinance. And for me to walk up there and do something different than that?
But you won't be doing anything. It's to keep it going in perpetuity. Once you sell it to that first owner, and then they turn around, they want to sell it.
But it's still got the same regulations following that property. Nothing
They can
changed.
sell it to anyone that's under 55.
Ma'am?
They would be able to sell their property. They won't have a restriction on who they can sell to in the future.
Well, I disagree because it's in the ordinance for the property. Everything will abide by that. Sorry.
The ordinance can be changed because that's what you're trying to do right there. That's exactly what you're trying to do right now, change the city ordinance, because there is a city ordinance who say you will not put more than 135 units.
But, I mean, you've been harping on that for 2 years, I think. 10 years ago or 15 years ago, we made an agreement and let that other apartment unit come north. Let me ask Brian something. Do you have, you got...
Keep it on the record. Can you, make sure you speak into the microphone, please.
I'm in the middle of changing your codes, right? When was this group put in? 10 years ago, 15 years ago? I think it was. The old
zoning ordinance?
Yeah.
15 years ago.
Why are you changing it now?
Just updating it. Needs
updating. Things change, don't they?
Let's not be having cross-examination.
Well, I mean, that's what he's been chewing on me about a year for, and
I understand.
Okay, as long as you do.
Let's let council discuss.
I'm not chewing on you, sir.
questions.
I just say the word you just say, where you say it's going to be in the ordinance.
Yeah.
That was in an ordinance you're trying to change now, so
Listen,
that's exactly the same thing.
I don't want this thing to die right here because there is a way to do this without putting it in the deed.
I'm happy to talk to you, your attorney. I'm happy to do that.
I understand. Thank you.
That's the way I've seen it done in the past, is through a deed restriction.
I'm going to look somewhere else.
And council.
Appreciate you. I think that's a warranted discussion for sure.
Further questions, discussion? The will?
Yeah, I have comments, but no more question for the applicant. So if nobody has questions, we can let him go.
Comments?
Everything I read there is basically doesn't fit the density, which should be 2.8 went from 2.88 acres to almost 13 per acre. Units authorized, 135 units. Now we're going almost 5 times that or 4 times that. I just read the report from our staff. Only 135 residential units remain for this portion of the Greensboro Village PUD, according to ordinance number 0150529. So there was an ordinance for that. No more apartments were permitted in the PUD at this time. And now there is 475 residential units, which is 340 more than what currently is authorized on the PUD. We talk about planned Gallatin and density, 1167 units per acre on the low end. Alternative architecture, height, change, height almost twice, that's what we have authorized. 5 stories, 50-foot maximum building height for the 3 stories. The parking, I will look at the parking later, but where the parking is going to go, I ask you, you told us, 16 parking for 11 units. If I look at what we have on apartments, it's 1.5 or 2 depending on the number of bedrooms there. So we're not going to be there on any building. That means we're going to have parking outside.
Yeah, there's a combination of parking outside and under the building.
And that's a lot.
Covers it all.
That's a lot of parking spots for all these units. And on the plan, I don't see that many. So
Meets the current multifamily standards as drawn today.
I have issue with all that. And again, that started when I got invited by Mr. Green to look at the development, and I went there and I looked at what was presented to me. And Mr. Green told me, hey, we just have a hurdle to pass. I gave my word to the city that I would not build apartment on the other side, but there was water under the bridge. The way I work is that when I give my word, I stick to my word. That can be 20 years later, 30 years later. If I give my word, I give my word. And if I remember well, I heard from this body when we're talking about putting the light for at the park for the soccer field. I heard we gave our word, so we're going to stick to it. So we can have it both ways. If somebody gave the word, make an agreement with the city, that's it. Even if it's 10 years later, we should stick to it. So I think I won't vote for that because again, if somebody gave his word, he should stick to his word.
Council members, who else would like to comment?
And I'm going to make a motion to postpone indefinitely.
Motion to postpone indefinitely. Dies for lack of a second.
I'd like to make a motion to postpone to the next committee meeting. That way, hopefully, Councilman Hayes and Councilman Fennell are here and they can weigh in as well.
I second that.
Make that a defer until.
I'm sorry. Yeah, motion to defer.
Second.
Motion and second on that for the next council meeting, which is January
13.
And if we could get a traffic study at that time too for that meeting, that would be great.
Would love to have that.
Motion and second to defer to 113. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Those get deferred until January 13th.
Thank you very much. Is that it? Any other questions? We're good? Okay, thank you, Mayor.
move on now to item number 3, which is ordinance 02512-75, an ordinance of the City of Gallatin, Sumner County, rezoning a 77.55 acre parcel, tax map 113, parcel 020, with no zoning, to the R8 PRD medium density residential planned residential development district with a preliminary master development plan for Myers Hill, located east of Dobbins Pike, north of Hicks Lane, authorizing the revision to be indicated on the official zoning atlas, repealing conflicting ordinance, providing for severability, providing for an effective date. Mr. Rose again.
Oh, yeah, I just got to turn it to the slideshow. Oh, yeah. Yep. Thank you. Thank you, Mayor and Council. Again, Brian Rose, City Planner. This is the Myers Hill PMDP. The owner and applicant are requesting approval of zoning to the R8 PRD medium density residential district, and also approving the PMDP for the property to develop a 190 single-family lot subdivision on 77.55 plus or minus acres located east of Dobbins Pike and north of Hicks Lane. Again, for reference, the property is here in this yellow outline. Hicks Lane is here along the south side. Dobbins Pike is here along the west side. I apologize. Plan Gallatin designates this area as part of the suburban community character area. Part of the discussion on this property has been the access. So just to give you kind of an idea, there is this main spine road through the center, which gives access to Dobbins Pike, also puts a stub out into Triple Creek Park, and then the only other access that would be able to be realized right now would be this little spine road to the south, which connects into Hicks Lane, which is also directly across from the school road here, which is not a public road currently. So that at least gives a couple points of access where people can get in and out, and then also future access to Triple Creek. And there is another future connection point up on the north side for when the north property would develop and connect into that. Plan Gallatin designates this area as a suburban character area. This provides for 2 to 5 dwelling units per acre as the recommended density. The proposed density for the project is 2.46 dwelling units per acre, while the R8 PRD zoning allows up to a possible 6 dwelling units per acre, so that's still on the low end of that spectrum. Lot sizes will meet the minimum 6,000 square foot requirement for the R8 PRD zoning. The PMDP provides 42.93% open space with 28.34% of the open space not being located in utility easements. This exceeds the minimum 28% open space requirement for R8 PRD just a little bit. Access will be provided by a main spine road through the middle, as I spoke earlier. Let's see. Also, Dobbins Pike and Hicks Lane will both be getting sidewalks with this development. The other piece is that Hicks Lane will have to be widened to 20 feet in order to be able to accommodate an active fire lane. And also some curb and gutter and grass strip will be installed along Hicks Lane as well. Buffer yards will be provided. The applicant is proposing to meet the 70% brick and stone requirement. Parking will be 2 spaces per unit. This will be met with driveways and 2-car garages, but in addition to that, 27 additional parallel parking spots will be provided for additional guest parking throughout the development. And that's adjacent to some of the park areas, and there's a park area right along here that is completely surrounded by streets. There will be some parking around that, and then along your main drag near some of the other open space areas. The plan does have 10 conditions of approval that were required as part of the Planning Commission's approval on this. They did vote by 6-0 to recommend approval to the to the City Council, and that was on October 27th, 2025. And again, just for history's sake, it was annexed back in 2024, August 6th was the date when the property was annexed. And at that time, there hadn't been a formal plan submitted, although we did have a version of this plan that had been part of 2 years prior to that annexation request, and that annexation request had been turned down at the time. But they're here before you asking again for your approval of this plan. Again, I am here to answer any questions you may have, but the applicant is also here and I believe would want to make a presentation as well.
I have questions for Mr. Rose. You want to go ahead with the applicant?
You can go there.
Okay.
Well, I'm sorry, did you make questions?
I didn't see any over there.
Hicks Lane is a county street, county road, yeah?
Is a county road, correct. The applicant still will be required to make the upgrades to Hicks Lane, even though it is county, so they'll have to work with the county to get those permits necessary to be able to upgrade the road.
We don't know if they got any approval by the county to do that.
In order to be able to do their development, they'll have to obtain that approval from the county.
Brian, has anybody said anything about widening Dobbins Pike where the entrance will be on that, like a 3-lane turning lane, or?
I believe that is part of the plan. Yeah, he's nodding his head. Yes, it will be.
And another question, Mr. Rose, or maybe for Mr. Harrison, I don't know. Where will the sidewalks and the street widening for Dobbins Pike happen? Where will that start at?
It'll be all along the frontage of it.
Gotcha. Okay.
You just go to the plans.
This one?
No. Just go back to the PowerPoint. Yeah, I'll just go backwards a couple slides.
That's fine. Yes. Oh, yeah, there you go. Actually, flip it to the one that's got open space.
That one?
No, go back again. May not be in there. That's it. I'm not the park now. Okay.
Jim Harrison, CSDG. Thank you tonight for letting us present this. I don't really have a terribly sophisticated presentation. Bottom line is that what you see on the screen represents the neighborhood. And Brian did a great job. I want to first thank the city for helping us to work through this and really work with the city to create the alternate park access to the city property. Because of that, we made some of these lots, about a quarter of the lots, rear loaded, alley loaded, to make sure we didn't have any driveways coming out on those main spine roads. We actually did a traffic study for this. That's those turn lanes that are on Dobbins Pike that you can see kind of on the left-hand side of this plan. They're kind of small on this plan, but there's a left turn lane there. That location is located at a high point, so it's safe from a sight distance standpoint. Very carefully looked at that. There's a little bit of ground that has to be lowered over top of an existing gas line there. We've coordinated with the gas line to make sure that that's deep enough and make sure we're very careful about checking that. I also want to say thank you for the neighbors. We had a good neighborhood meeting where we received a lot of very good input, very thoughtful neighbors. We made some adjustments. We made adjustments to buffers along rear of properties to create an average of 100-foot open space along the rear of that southwest side. We do have 8 different detention ponds located, water quality and detention ponds located within this to make sure that we're not increasing any drainage that runs off this property onto someone else once this is developed. We do have redundant access. There's been a lot of talk about Hicks Lane. Hicks Lane, when this came back through about 3 years ago, I think, was much narrower. The county actually did some widening on Hicks Lane, the county road crews, that took it near what the width is, what the width needs to be right now. So it's not going to be difficult to make those improvements along Hicks Lane. We have committed to do that. We agreed with all the conditions per the Planning Commission. I will say this, the neighborhood that we're creating here, we really fully expect this is probably targeted primarily for people that are buying their second or third home. It's targeted for people that live in our community. This is a lot size type range for families that provides very needed housing types in this price range. There's an extreme shortage. We think this helps to address that, but we wanted to make sure that the houses were nice. That's why we agreed to the 75% brick and stone, but we also have a variety of homes shown in this neighborhood. That's important to us as well. I think a lot of times when you do a neighborhood like this, having a variety of home styles is very important. We expect there will be there probably will be 2 or 3 different home builders in here. We don't know that for sure. We expect that. We have located 3 key pocket parks. The reason I wanted to show this slide is because of the pocket park lawn that's down on the lower left that shows an example of those. Those are scattered around through the community. In addition to, Brian mentioned the open space, which is about double what is required for this. That open space does have a mixture of existing trees, an existing creek, existing tree stands along the creek, but it also has very vital open spaces throughout the whole development with those pocket parks. We have 2 play fields that are located within the development as well, because we want to have places for the kids, for the families and the kids in the families to play. We wanted to see an active community. We'll have sidewalks. We have walking trails that run down along the central open space area. The overall density of this is 2.46 units per acre. That's on the very low side of the 2 to 5 units per acre that's allowed within suburban land use per the Plan Gallatin. When we annexed it, we knew that. We knew that was the guideline that is public and is approved. But we wanted to go on the lower side of that density range as we were designing this, because really we want to have a nice neighborhood. We also want to have something that's well designed. Redundant access is key. We have plans to improve Hicks Lane. I also have coordinated with school for plans to create additional redundancy on the south side. Don't have to have that, but we've done that as an extra thing that we will do as part of the zoning. So that's available as well. There's a couple things that they would need to have done, like count parking spaces and add some parking spaces, but we think that's a positive. We plan to put that in with the FMDP at the point in time that goes forward. But really just here to answer any questions and again say thank you to Gallatin Planning, Engineering, really a lot of folks at Gallatin for helping us to work with this development and provide a development that creates capacity and access for traffic to get in and out of Triple Creek Park. We know that there are plans to expand or improve Triple Creek Park on the east side of this on land the city of Gallatin has, and we want to provide as much capacity as we can because currently there's just one access out. This will create multiple accesses out, and we think that's a big amenity for the city, but we want to make sure it's a good neighborhood. Last thing I'll say is there are 2 schools on the south side of this, middle school and elementary school. We will have sidewalks, but our new roads will actually provide better routes for those buses to run along. We know that's a positive as well, to provide additional routes for that to happen. But we thank you for your consideration and just wanted to be here to answer any questions that you may have.
Questions, you all?
So you're okay with all the exceptions at the planning department?
Yes, sir. We agreed with all those conditions. Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion, we move it on to council.
I have a motion by Councilman Fan, second by Councilman Carter. Further discussion, questions? Mr. Alexander?
Thank you. This isn't for Mr. Harrison, but just looking, and my computer is dragging slow. So I apologize. But when I look at page 116 in our docket, of the 292 pages today, and you look at the overlay of this development, I understand you've got the park to the east, but there is nothing else that dense anywhere around there. When you look at that picture, it's attachment 5 of what they presented. You see large plots with single houses. You see the schools. You see a lot of open area, and with all due respect, sir, I don't see this as a low-density development when you look at that picture. And it was part of your presentation I saw briefly. That's a lot of houses crammed in there. I personally, our policy rubs me the wrong way that you get to include all the open space and utility easements and everything else in figuring your units per acre. This thing is going to feel extremely dense, even compared to the subdivisions outside the park area. It's just it's so much crammed in there, and that's my problem with it. Is that is way too much density in this one little project in an area that doesn't have that. That's my comments to the council.
Thank you. Else? Councilman Giovanni?
Thank you, Mayor. First thing I want to say that we should not vote on any rezoning because when we brought up the halt on rezoning, the old guys voted to send it, and that was pushed back by the planning, and particular by the president of the planning and the vice president of the planning, and his words were, Mr. Morel, when we had it at the council, Ms. Betts came to the podium and speak on behalf of Mr. Morel, who asked her to do that, and his words were that he was not in favor of halting on rezoning because we can vote down a rezoning at any time, and we don't need a halt or moratorium, whatever you might call it. And he was very vocal on the planning, so I think we should follow his own words and not vote on rezoning until the ZOCO is approved. That's my first thing. Second thing where I have an issue is fire access again, because one of the comment was that X-lane shall be widened to a minimum of 20 feet per fire code to give fire access. So we don't have control on X lane. So until X lane is widened and the county widen X lane, we should not approve anything who put the residents in danger or let even 31 units there because we can be on the same situation we have with another development. We have only one entry, and when we say we need a second, that's still not there. 2 points of fire access connection consisting of the construction of Road A up to roundabout. The roundabout and Road F on the plan shall be built in accordance with our ordinance code before the 31st certificate of occupancy is granted. Permanent fire apparatus access road must have a concrete of asphalt binder, mixture, etc., etc., etc. Road F is X lane, so X lane doesn't meet the requirement until it's widened by the county. If the county doesn't widen, we're going to have a development approved with 31 units, only one entry, and nothing's going to happen. So I have an issue with that. I have the same concern with the school and X lane, and I have another concern I didn't think about, you just brought about the access to the park. If we put an access road there who goes through a park, people are going to go and use Road A if they need to go through the neighborhood. And we know what's happened there because we have the case, several stuff. I agree with Councilman Alexander on what we call open space. Open space and PUD where it's a giant antenna where we cannot put anything there. And again, I look at the access, we're going to put an access there on the road for that antenna, which I don't think is right. And a creek and retention ponds. I always, joke about retention pond. That can be a nice swimming pool for the kids, but except that, that can be used. So I still have the same issue with open space. And to be honest, I preferred the plan you had before when that got turned down last time. I think that was better looking than that one. And that got denied on the annexation because I came and realized that was not a good idea. I don't think it's a good idea. That's going to create issue with the school. We don't have a fire access, so I don't think we should even authorize something who doesn't have a clear fire access already there. Because again, if the county doesn't do anything or you don't get authorization by the county, we don't have fire access. So we're putting again people at risk. So that's I can vote yes for that, but I think we should not do any rezoning until we have the new ZOCO, because that was kind of what was told at planning. We didn't need to put a moratorium, but we could stop rezoning. So I don't know if I can make a motion.
I got a motion in a second.
Yeah. Mr. Rose, I just want to confirm, will you speak to the Hicks Lane portion of this? Did you say that the developer would have to get permission from the county in order to go through this project because the road needs to be widened? Will you clarify that for me, please?
Yeah, so they do have to approach the county for any permits to do work on a county road. So that's what I was referring to.
So why don't we postpone until we know if the county is gonna widen Hicks Lane, so we're not in a position.
Mr. Carter, I just want to address that. We went out and measured the road to where it's widened to right now. It's averaged about 18 feet in the narrowest place. We've looked at specifically whether we can put asphalt on top of it within the current right-of-way. We can. All we have to do is go get a permit, which is a routine thing from the county. It's automatic. It's by right. You've got to put the right rules and you got to put the right warranties and the right sureties in place. It's not a matter of whether we have a right to do it or not. We can do it.
Okay.
And that's just the way it is. And we wanted to make sure that we knew that ahead of time before we made that commitment.
Gotcha. Thank you guys for clarifying.
I got a question, another question.
Stan?
I agree with what Councilman Alexander said. It is kind of a cluster. But wouldn't it drive up the cost of a house significantly if we cut it back and we were talking more roads, more driveways, the whole 9 yards? And we are looking for affordable housing, was my understanding. That's all I hear every day. That's the reason we're going to have something there. It's got lots of green space. And that's what the trend is now. I mean, there's a reason all these townhomes are selling and people want to be in apartments. At least these people have a yard. And that's the reason I'm willing to push it on the council.
You guys crack me up when you're talking about more houses going to make the price going down. If that was the case, we would have houses at $200K here because we have so many approved and so many we got built. That's not the case. The people are going to pay the price they ask for. Nobody is going to sell a $250,000 house if you have someone nearby who sell for $400K. That's not going to happen. It's the market. And the same way that when the price went up, because of the cost of material, when the material went down, they didn't lower the price. You never seen a construction building going down. It's like, it's the same thing, that's...
The economic discussion is one that apparently there's different philosophies on, which I thought economics was pretty straight, but it's directly related to supply and demand. The demand exceeds the supply, the prices are up. And trying to, meet that demand when you've got a 4 million unit shortage nationwide, accelerated in Middle Tennessee, it rolls on, and that's why our prices are high. It's not because people just think they can build higher priced homes.
Do you have an estimated cost on a home in there?
It's always dependent on the market, but we think it's probably around $500,000 to $550,000, and that price is probably more than what it naturally be because of the shortage that the mayor just mentioned. But that's based on the land values and the amount of the road that you have to build in front of the lot. That's based on this type of development. That is right in the middle of where a lot of families that are buying their second or third home really need that kind of product, and it's not really available. So
and this is 75% brick?
Yes, sir.
That's the same thing we heard from Lock 4, that's the same thing we hear on every development, and every time someone comes with a new development, the price we hear is getting higher and higher. So we approve everything, and the price not going to go down. And, I buy you all dinner with the most expensive steak when that's built. All these houses are built, and the price is less than what you just told us tonight.
I don't think the price will go down. The goal is to keep the price from continuing to accelerate. And that is the reality that is in this part of the country. My opinion on that. Anyone else with any comments before we vote?
Supply, demand, and the economy. I bought lots of houses in a down economy that were worth more than what I paid for them.
500K or 550 is not what I call affordable.
Affordable is each individual's budget.
Let me get back to my agenda so I can tell you what item number it is. Okay. This is ordinance 02512-75. All in favor of moving forward to council, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
No.
Moves forward with a vote of 3-2. Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to take a recess now. We will reconvene at 8 o'clock. So.
Okay, you just for a surprise flyer to our family group chat that I'm in.
Oh, no.
And I
Act
was
like you
about to
didn't
text
see
her
it.
and say, hey, FYI, I'm in city council, but yeah, I'm just not going to respond in the group.
I'm just now turning it on.
So now I really
Good evening again, everyone. It is 8:02, and we're going to reconvene this meeting, moving to item number 2, which is ordinance 02512-74, an ordinance of the City of Gallatin, Sumner County, amending Plan Gallatin Community Character Map and Sub-area. Okay, thank you. Designations map by changing the community character areas from the rural and suburban character areas to the general urban character area and expanding the number 4 Gallatin Gateway Industrial Center sub-area onto a portion of a parcel PO 106035 totaling 325.48 acres located south of Highway 31, north of Gateway Drive. Mr. Rose, you're going to be glad when your show's over tonight, aren't you?
That I feel like I need to get some Sbarro's pizza tonight or something like that. So this is a request to amend the community character area map by changing, which is part of the comprehensive plan, by changing the referenced 325.48 acre parcel, portion of a parcel from the rural and suburban character community character areas to the general urban community character area, and expanding the number 4 Gallatin Gateway Industrial Center sub-area onto this as well. Just for reference again, the property is located here in the yellow. Roundtree Drive sort of bisects this portion and then hugs the south end and heads into a residential neighborhood over here. You have all this purple area to the south, which is your industrial park, you have Facebook and everything down to the south there. As of November 18th, 2025, which is just a few weeks ago, this property was officially annexed into the City of Gallatin city limits. The proposal is to change your the sub area. The community character area, all to general urban, which does allow for your industrial projects to occur. Of course, general urban also allows for high density. So in order to sort of separate this project out from other general urban properties, we are also proposing, or the applicant is also proposing, that the number 4 Gallatin Gateway Industrial Center sub-area also be amended to include this area so that it's clear that the intent for the property is to go industrial. And I'll show that, just what it's showing here on your diagram. That little addition of pink area, if I go back, you'll see it disappear, and then go forward and you'll see it appear. That's the general urban category. And then if we continue on, you have that gray area that's the top right corner, that gray blob, expands out if you look there. And that's, again, this current property. And that kind of pulls in the same intentions as that number 4 industrial center sub-area for the Gallatin Gateway Industrial Center is, it's being applied to this property as well. As this is a comprehensive plan amendment, Planning Commission adopts the comprehensive plan and the City Council adopts the comprehensive plan. So they adopted a resolution, GMPC resolution number 2025-114 by a vote of 6-0 to approve this comprehensive plan amendment. And then the applicant is here and may wish to make a presentation. Again, I'm happy to answer any questions. But again, this would be also before you to make an adoption for the comprehensive plan as it's adopted by both bodies. And I'm here to answer any questions if you have them.
Thank you, sir. I've been following Plan Gallatin from the start, and I read it again. And where I have an issue is that even in Plan Gallatin, a lot of things are not defined. So if we go back to the Gateway Industrial Center, it's not defined as an industrial area already. It's in a plan, it's considered a major employment center. And again, there is nothing to say that even if it's an overlay, that light industry need to be built there. It's the exact word there. They say it's encourage, I think. The city should encourage certain properties near the industrial center to become light industrial manufacturers. So there is, again, on the legal staff, there is nothing to say that even if we put that overlay, they have to go and do some industrial. So I still have the same concern that before, that if we change the character area to suburban, even if we put that overlay, they could come and say, hey, we still put the development there, and we have nothing. Maybe Susan can help me on that, but there is nothing there who say that that overlay is going to force them to put industrial. On the other side, if we look at the character area, there is nothing in the rural character area who say you cannot do industrial on rural. There is nothing there in the Plan Gallatin. And if I go drive there, if I actually drive to the Gateway Industrial Center we have, there is actually more open space than we have in the majority of the development we approve. It's all green back there. It's kind of cool. You know, you drive there, all you see is green. Now, if you drive near my property on the Liberty Creek subdivision, there is no piece of green. So I don't have a problem, put the overlay, extend the industrial center, but keep the character area where it is, so we protect ourselves of having a change of heart, even if Ms. Bett telling her that's not the case, but you never know. We saw what happened with item number 1 on PUDE. That came a lot different than that was supposed to be, but there is nothing on a green area who say that we can't put industrial. There is nothing there. It's just, there is nothing in the Plan Gallatin who's talking about industrial. So that's why, so I'm gonna make a motion to put the overlay, the overlay, to extend the overlay for the Gallatin Gateway, but just that, extend the overlay. I don't want the change of character area. I want to make sure we protect the neighbor, and that should not be an issue.
Changing the character area does not change zoning. The zoning comes after the change of the character area. That's what we're trying to allow for. I don't think that we can zone industrial in a rural character area.
There is nothing we say we can't. There is nothing we say we can't in the plan, Gallatin.
The difficulty that you come across is that the rural character areas do not allow for industrial at all. So if you've got that, it sort of conflicts with the ability to go in and zone it industrial when you've got one thing saying, yes, it's the sub-area plan shows one thing, but then the rural area shows a different thing. Now that the current sub-area didn't really, say exactly where it's supposed to be, but it also didn't cover these rural areas. It covered an area that's more industrial or, industrial at this time. So there was never any sort of thought to make that distinction, but now that it's being proposed outside of where that is, it was our best interpretation of the plan, which I agree with you. It's not easy to interpret because there's a lot of vagueness to it, and that's purposeful in a lot of points because it then allows you the flexibility to be able to do the things that you're wanting to do, and without having to go in and change it every time. But I think it would conflict if you took that piece out and only did the sub-area and not the general urban portion as well. That's my opinion, but.
Yes, ma'am.
Thanks.
Thank you. I just want to make sure I understand, pardon me, but I'm going to use colors on that map because I can't read what it says down there from here. So are you suggesting that we take sub-area 4, which is those gray pixel-looking things, and expand that area as opposed to changing the character area name? Is that what you're suggesting?
I think what was asked was to change the character area and to extend what you call a gray pixel.
Right, the gray.
Yeah, what I'm saying is that I have no problem extending, even if we still have no way, even if it's extended, we have no way to force the owner per the plan Gallatin to do industrial, and that's the concern I have because if we go suburban and suddenly, there's a change of heart, we're going to have another development with 200 or 300 houses. So that's my way to protect the neighbors. And the zoning, again, I looked at the zoning. There is nothing who block the industrial zoning on a rural area.
Okay, well, let me back up just because I'm trying to grasp this too. So, but instead of changing the big character area, just expand the gray circle to cover that part of the property. I can't speak to what the priorities are there, and if you can just expand a sub-area versus a character area, if that would work, that's great. I do think that there are some things with Plan Gallatin that my predecessor agreed with. I do not, but it's water under the bridge, so to speak, until another few years goes by before we look at this again. And so much has changed since this was adopted, and we don't have the new zoning ordinance yet that was supposed to be in place to make these things happen. Not because people haven't been trying, they have. I mean, it's 500 pages and it's coming eventually. But if that correct me if I'm wrong, but the comprehensive plan does not bind this city council to anything. Anybody in any character area can come and ask for something different than what that character area says, because the Plan Gallatin is just a suggestion. It's just a suggestion. I agree with you in that part. And as I've said before, in this particular situation, as long as I'm here, I will argue vehemently that it is only rezoned to IR. Y'all can do what you want. I don't vote. You vote. But again, as you've already said, and y'all have realized, if you don't want something rezoned, you don't have to vote to rezone it. You know, I was...
Character area does not entitle the zoning does.
Correct.
And we've had this
Yeah.
discussion many times.
Yeah. So I just wanted to understand what you were saying so that I could explain it down the road if I needed to. So thank you.
Where I disagree with you is when you say the Plan Gallatin is not binding. Actually, only that chapter is binding. It's on the start of the Plan Gallatin. We say that chapter, I think it's chapter 8, is actually binding. So, and that's the plan character area.
Again, though, the rural character area does have a call out that says industrial is not allowed in this area. So
It doesn't
that's-
say it's not allowed. It says it's discouraged.
Well,
The same way the overlay say it's encouraged.
again,
That doesn't say
I
that has to be done.
I would say, though, if it's saying that it's discouraged in that area, then you should look to put a character area in place that is encouraged, so that, you know, if you're trying to do industrial, it would not conflict with that recommendation from the Plan Gallatin. That's my best. Again,
I don't disagree with you.
That's totally sensible. We are having an ongoing argument and not getting us where we need to get to.
And I don't disagree with you, except that none of the character area has said that industrial is encouraged. So, and I'm pretty sure that if we were talking to the neighbors who came here and was concerned about what would happen nearby, they would have no problem if we tell them we keep that and we put an overlay, and after there is nothing would stop us to rezone IR on a rural. There is nothing there. So.
But that doesn't make sense. I mean, I think I'd start there. Why would you have industrial zone land in a rural character area? Nothing about that sensible.
and again, we looked at what the other areas in town that are zoned industrial have as designation, and it's that general urban character area. And so trying to remain consistent with that is also something that we tried to do from a planning standpoint, as far as what we recommended to the applicant that they should apply for. I mean, we're trying to give them the best information that they can have as they come to you and ask for these requests, so that, you know, it meets the least amount of opposition, I guess. But
So to reiterate for everyone's benefit, because we've spent a lot of time commenting on something that doesn't apply, this is to change the community character area and the sub-area to the general urban character area, and expanding the Gateway Industrial Center sub-area onto a portion of parcel, I'm sorry, I'm having a hard time focusing, the 325 acres located south 31. So it's changing the character map and the sub-area designation. That's what we have before us.
Right. Both. And Pascal is trying to motion to only do this gray area, the sub-area portion, not the first part, which would change the character areas. That's the distinction, is what he's asking for.
That was my motion.
Made a motion. And the motion dies for lack of a second.
Motion to approve, or motion to send to council, sorry.
Motion to send forward to council by Councilman Carter.
Second.
Second by Councilman Alexander. Is there further discussion and/or further questions?
I would abstain.
Ordinance 02512-74. All in favor of moving forward to council, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. And Councilman Juvance abstains. Okay, moving to item number 4, which is Resolution 2512-94, a resolution of the City Council of the City of Gallatin authorizing the property owners and applicant to submit an application to annex 3 parcels totaling 109.74 acres, tax map 112, parcels 047.00, and tax map 127, parcel 027.04, and 0.781 plus or minus acres of State Route 25 Hartsville Pike into the city, located along and south of Hartsville Pike and east of Carolyn Lane.
All right. So this is 1714 and 1750 Hartsville Pike and Berry Lane annexation. The owner and applicant they're starting the process of annexation by petitioning the council to ask permission to submit an application for an annexation of 109.74 plus or minus acres of land and 0.781 plus or minus acres of State Route 25 and / Hartsville Pike. This is the first stage of their process. Of course, we'll follow that up with an annexation study and then a proposal for the plan of services and so on and so forth. The property is located again, Hartsville Pike is right here. And then I think it was Carolyn Lane or what, let's see. Yeah, Carolyn Lane was, I believe, this street to the west over here. Anyway, municipalities will typically consider annexation for the following reasons: to ensure orderly future growth of the city and its surrounding areas, to ensure unified planning and zoning regulations and enforcement consistent with the adopted comprehensive plan and UGB plan, to protect or enhance the current and future municipal tax base, to increase the size and population of the community, to distribute the cost of providing municipal services more equitably, and to facilitate the long-range planning for the provision of those services, and to coordinate municipal services. At this time, we have not, again, received a plan for a development of this property, although I've at least seen a conceptual plan that would include some residential in the lower portions and likely some version of maybe some mixed use or commercial at the Hartsville Pike frontage. That's about the extent of what I've seen. Again, nothing's been submitted to the city at this point in time. They would have to work out access issues and all of that as development plans come through. Again, I can try to answer any questions you may have. I know the applicant is also here as well.
Questions for Mr. Givance?
How is it a contiguous annexation?
So you've got the purple area up here, and you've got State Route 25, Hartsville Pike, and then you've got contiguity because of the annexation of that segment of Hartsville Pike.
All right, that's where I have an issue. Because I read.
Givance, I'm sorry. Can you repeat your question again?
How is it contiguous?
Okay, gotcha. Thank you.
Because I read in a packet, and there was a letter in a packet given by the developer where a lady, Leslie Saw from TDOT, said that she was giving consent to annex that 280 feet of state highway. She's a legal counsel of TDOT. She doesn't have the authority to approve to give, from the state to give the land to us. She doesn't have that authority. She's a legal counsel. She's here for advice, the same way that Susan doesn't have the authority to give a piece of land from the city to someone. So I have an issue with that first. And second, I don't know if I need to cry or to laugh on that one, because we're talking about annexing, if we could, where until I see someone in the state where there should be a state agency with authority over that land, so that would be the Department of General Service for that case, give authorization to annex. I just think that any normal person will find that ridiculous. We're going to annex 280 feet of road, so we're going to put a sign on the right to say, welcome to Gallatin. 280 feet later, we're going to put, hey, bye, you're not in Gallatin anymore. And on the state highway, maybe a mile and a half later, we're going to put another one, say, welcome to Gallatin. Everything on the left of that development is in a county. And I don't think that's never going to be annexed in a city, because I don't see all these owners make a request to annex in a city. So we're creating a donut hole, stuff we have been told not to do from the start. And the pink stuff is a right of way. So basically what they do, they try to annex a piece of highway because there is a right of way on the other side to touch a right of way to make it contiguous. I don't think we can do that. There was an Attorney General, Tennessee Opinion 03158, who talked about that and who basically warned the cities not to do that because there could be challenge in court. And they call that annexation by asphalt. And they say that could be challenged because they call that strip annexation. So on top of the fact, like I said, the city is still in default of a previous plan of service, where we know that until the judge said we're in default, we're technically not in default, but that should not be the case. If we know we're in default, we're in default. But that's another discussion. But
I think the difference between strip annexation and this annexation is strip annexation is where you would extend a road, annex a strip of roadway out a long ways in order to be able to stay contiguous to a piece of land that's further out. This is not that case where you have adjacency directly across the road from that. You're literally just annexing that adjacent roadway along with this to be able to do the same thing. But it's
a right of way.
When you're right across the way from it, it's not the same thing.
It's a right of way. It's stretching, it's a stretch. We're just trying to expand where we should not. We should follow the rule of annexation you told us when you started to talk, and that doesn't mean the intent of the rules. That doesn't mean the intent of the rules. We're trying to push the city past county limits by annexing a 280 foot of state highway.
Macaulay, I'm going to ask you to weigh in so we can quit this conversation.
I believe, and Mr. Rose can correct me, we've already annexed that piece of property, that right-of-way in the past. Does it extend this far? Yes, so we're not really annexing here, but I know in the past you have brought up that you didn't believe that annexation was done properly. If that is the case and it wasn't done properly, then it goes to the center line, and that's how it's contiguous because of the purple. Not saying you should or shouldn't annex, just saying it's contiguous.
So what they're explaining is that this section of roadway had already been annexed in a previous annexation. And the piece that's being basically said that would help to, finish it off is just the end portion.
That still doesn't change, that doesn't mean the intent. All what's on the left is county, yes? On the left of that property, that's not city.
Again, on the left of the property,
Yeah.
yes.
That's county. So we're basically jumping over county land to annex. If they want to develop, why don't they develop in a county?
But on the north side, you're adjacent to city property, including the roadway and this. So it's not a jump to, it's contiguous because of that.
This really shouldn't be, you shouldn't be having to debate this with the council. The debate should be among the council. The request is permission to submit an application. So.
It's going to pass anyway, so, well, but I think that doesn't meet the intent of annexation, and we're just going to have a donut hall of county there in middle of the city just for no reason, just to expand where we don't need. And the other issue is that until we have Station 1 back there, that's far away, and that's, well, that's probably, that doesn't meet the regular call. So, but hey, that's me. I will vote no against it.
They've said the request is allowing the applicant to submit an application for annexation. So I would ask if there's further discussion or questions relevant to that. Council, the request.
We're not approving anything.
Correct.
I don't know that you vote tonight on that. I think it's just
But
next
vote to
step
move
is
it forward
an
to council.
annexation study, which we already have scheduled. So I don't know that you have to move something to council even. Is that right?
No, we still would have to move it to council.
Okay.
Yes, it has to follow, it has to go through a resolution if council determines that they want them to be able to submit an application. They will have to do that by resolution.
I think anybody deserves the right to submit an application.
I didn't hear that. I'm sorry.
He said that he thinks anyone should have the right to submit an application, but you didn't make a motion.
I make a motion, we let them submit an application.
The motion would be to move the resolution forward to council. The proper motion would be to move the resolution forward to council, if that's
Correct.
where you are. Okay,
Dies by lack of second.
Councilman, I'm sorry, what'd you say?
They dies by lack of second.
I'm still trying to get his motion articulated, which was, and he hasn't yet.
I make the motion because I believe anybody deserves the right to submit an application. That's the reason I'm making the motion. That we
To
move
move
it
it
on
to
to
council.
council.
Okay, now we have a motion. The motion does die for lack of a second. Okay, let's move on to item number 5, which is Resolution R2512-96, a resolution of the City of Gallatin, Sumner County, adopting a plan of services for the annexation of a 5.09-acre parcel located south of Highway 25, east of Highway 109, providing for an effective date. And then this is also related to item number 6, which is Resolution R2512-97, which is the resolution annexing the 5.09-acre parcel authorizing the annexed property to be indicated on the official zoning atlas, assigning the annexed area to a council district, repealing conflicting ordinances, providing for severability, and providing for an effective date.
Thank you. And before I start, can I just ask a clarification question from the previous? Because there was a motion and lack of second, what action should if there was no action, is there some direction that I can give to the applicant, or what?
Years that the council is not in favor of annexing this property. I mean, they didn't get a second.
The guidance I would offer is to come back at some point in the future, or come back with more information that may compel them. I don't know.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So the next parcel is the Frank property. This is a request to annex a 5.09 acre parcel, a plus or minus acre parcel, located south of Highway 25 and east of Highway 109 in the city of Gallatin, authorizing the annexed property be indicated on the official zoning atlas and then assigning it an official council district. The property is located, again, on south of Highway 25, and then 109 is right here. It's a 5.09 acre parcel right there. Directly to the east is the Wedgewood Townhomes project, which will connect Wedgewood Drive up here into Nexus directly above that. At this point in time, there is no plan for development that has been proposed. I know this has been before you a few times, and so tonight is kind of your final night on this one. And again, the proposal is to annex it into the city. The plan of services did not really highlight anything different than what typical plan of services would do. No additional fire or police staff. Any development of the property, they would have to bring their services to the property and build those themselves, and then of course submit them to us as public acceptance of those improvements. Happy to.
Motion by Councilman Carter to send forward to council both items 5 and 6.
Yes, ma'am.
Have a motion to send items 5 and 6 forward to council.
Second.
Thank you. Second by Councilman Jones. It's Resolution R2512-96 and Resolution R2512-97. Discussion, questions. Councilman Givens.
I have a question for Susan. Put you on the spot again, sorry. When we change the way to do annexation, we use the MTAS model. The issue I have, and we had that come every time, and I'm talking about it every time, is that when we get something like that with just a piece of land with nothing on it, there is no way to do a plan of service, because the plan of service we have today is depending on 5 cars on a property. Now, when they bring a PMDP, there is, it's what, 5 acres, so there is 45, 50, 60 townhouses. That would be a different plan of service, because here we don't need PD, we don't need fire, but if we had 200 people there on that spot, we're going to need more PD and more fire. So if there is a way next year to change the way we do that to required before annexation, that we still have an idea of what they can do.
You can suggest, request, but you cannot require that because we lost the ability to rezone and annex simultaneously when we became a municipal Planning Commission. We don't have authority to annex outside now, and so we can't rezone at the same time.
And any plan that might be submitted would be just as up in the air as...
We could not, it would not be binding, we could not hold, so
Hold them to
you're going to be in the same situation. And I will say, kind of going back, the reason that we, going back to the former item, where we make them now request to file an application instead of allowing them, is so that we don't waste city resources and the applicant's time also. If there's something that council knows they're not going to annex, then it makes sense they have to request. And we don't go all the way through planning to get here for council to say, we're never going to we're never going to annex that. So we have that new step, but we do have to have a kind of a bifurcated process now, unfortunately. And, no one likes it. I don't like it. Planning doesn't like it. But that, unfortunately, unless we can get a change in the law, and that's something that we can request through our local legislators is to request that maybe they tie that up a little bit. But until we do that, that's the system that we have, unfortunately.
Because if we look just at Myers Hill, we just annexed that land where that was the same plan of service. We're not going to need any police, any fire, and suddenly we get.
But no, a lot of times they do tell it, like a big development typically will tell us what they're planning to do there, where they can do a complete plan of services. It's fairly rare that we have no idea what the thought process is.
I think I know because I see what's proposed on the one on the right side, so I know that's going to be the same thing. So, but that was just a question. Maybe
Sure.
we need to reach to legislator to change the law because that doesn't make the job easier on the planning, on the first responders and services.
I agree.
We'll vote no for it.
What else? Comments, questions? Okay, these are resolutions R251296 and 97. Motion is second to move forward to council. All in favor of moving forward to council, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no.
No.
It passes 3-2. We will move to item number 7, which is Cages Bend annexation study. Mr. Rose.
Right, you guys sick of me yet? This is my last one.
Do you want my honest answer?
All right, Cages Bend Road annexation. The city has received a petition for annexation of 2041 Cages Bend Road. Let me get to it here. This is the annexation study for the property. The property is 4.47 plus or minus acres, located south of Nashville Pike and east of Cages Bend Road, just south of Caldwell Place. And I'll just point it out really quickly here. Caldwell Place is the development that is occurring basically kind of in this area right here. This is the area in green highlighted there. That is the proposal for the annexation. Applicant has submitted their legal description and survey of the property, and it's shown in the PowerPoint here. They're simply moving along the process. The annexation study, again, it's similar to the Frank property, did not really bring any big ticket items that would have to be done in order to be able to provide services to this property. There are actually services in Cages Bend Road, so it's not a huge ask to be able to extend anything to that and to within that property. Fire and police didn't indicate any necessary additional personnel for that as well. So very, very simple annexation study. So.
Questions for Mr. Rose? Okay, We'll move along to item number 8. And you can sit down, Mr. Rose. Ordinance 02512-65, David Kellogg, Public Utilities Superintendent. Ordinance approving purchase and authorizing funds in the total amount of $940,000 from Water Sewer 2025 bond sales for water treatment plant land purchase.
Mayor Brown, council. This is a piece of property that is behind the water plant. We approached this property owner a couple years ago when we purchased the Kirkpatrick property, trying to purchase them both at the same time. At that time, the property owner was uninterested in selling. Now that we've started working on the raw water intake, she's come back to us and said that she's now interested in selling. The property was appraised. We appraised the Kirkpatrick property. She's accepted the appraised value of the property, and that's what we would like to purchase.
Motion to send to council.
By Councilman Givant, second by Councilman Alexander. Any questions, any comments? This is ordinance 02512-65. All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed say no. Moves forward with unanimous support. Item 9 is ordinance 02512-66. Ordinance amending Gallatin Municipal Code, Chapter 17, Article 2, Section 17-59, and Chapter 17, Article 3, Section 17-180, Water and Sewer Rates. Mr. Kellogg.
This is the ordinance implementing the changes that were presented by Jackson Thornton back in November. It's just the rate change for their recommendations.
Motion to
Motion by Councilman Carter, second by Councilman Jones. Opening the floor for discussion, questions. Is that Mr. Givant?
Thank you, Mayor. I had a lot of comment about that, and the main comments, and we talked about it already, is irrigation. And I know that the most of the draw in the city at a certain period of time, but I think where people have the most issue with it, they don't have issue when they use the system, they have issue when they don't use the system and they don't understand why they get charged a meter charge when they don't use the system. So I would like to make an amendment because we charge already 35 cents more for irrigation per cubic feet. I think that's what it is. 1192, 375, 340, so 35 cents. And I think people who would have less problem if we were making that maybe a little more and get rid of the meter charge, that having to pay a meter charge. People don't understand. I agree with that. I think when they don't use, why they pay a meter charge. And we don't have to go on a discussion of, the draw, because we know that. So maybe I'm not going to make an amendment tonight because I'm about to send it to council. Maybe can you look into it to see if there would be a way to get rid of the meter charge and charge maybe a little more on the cubic side than just charging a meter charge?
Sure. I can go back to Jackson Thornton and have them look at what revenue is generated off the meter charge for the irrigation and see what that would translate into a rate charge.
Because maybe 1 cent or 2 cents more on the cubic will cover that. I don't know. That's why I'm asking you to look into it.
Probably more than that, but
if you could bring that to the next council, I would appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you, sir. Motion was seconded already.
Already have that motion.
Oh, and another question, please. Sorry, Mayor.
Finish what I'm saying. In a damp year, that could hurt the revenues. They're supporting your investment. Go ahead with your question.
There was 17,180 on that ordinance on a sewer service rate. Outside city limit, you put 125 cubic feet minimum for 1942. What that minimum?
Minimum shouldn't be in there. That's a typo.
Okay.
Okay, ordinance 02512-66. All in favor of moving forward, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Moving on to 02512-67, Chapter 17, Article 4, Section 1757, water tap and installation fees. Section 1763 through 17 through 65, Section 1763 through 1765, utility service extension regulations, and Section 17177, application fees required for sanitary sewer.
Motion to move to council.
Like to say anything, Mr. Kellogg?
It's just updating tap fees that haven't been updated in a while and allowing us to treat
Okay,
property owners that are doing small projects the same as the ones that are doing big projects. So development is consistent.
Motion and a second to send forward to council. It's ordinance 02512-67. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moves forward unanimously supported. Item 11 is ordinance 02512-71, ordinance awarding bid and authorizing funds in the total amount of $2 million from natural gas reserves for 2025 annual gas line construction. That's what it is.
Our annual gas main and service construction project, just appropriating funds and awarding the contract.
Motion by Councilman Fan, second by Councilman Alexander. Any questions, discussion?
Not just for the city. That's nothing to extend outside of the city. It's just
It
city.
is wherever our gas system is, it's to put services primarily is what the project is. It's services to houses, businesses. A subdivision in town wants gas, it extends into that subdivision.
It's ordinance 02512-71. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no.
I'm going to abstain.
4, any against? 4, 0, 1 abstention. Item 12 is Resolution R2512-88, a resolution to eliminate services provided by the City of Gallatin Natural Gas Department related to lighting natural gas pilots for customers. Mr. Kellogg.
Mayor Brown, this is a resolution eliminating one of the services that we do for lighting pilots for people. Our insurance carrier recommended that we cease that practice because of the liability. I think our attorney would also agree that there is a liability there. So this is the resolution to cease doing that service.
And send to council.
Motion by Councilman Juvant, second by Councilman Jones or Carter? Jones. Discussion.
What will be the plan when somebody calls asking you to do that now?
We will give them a list of licensed certified contractors to do that. And if we turn the gas off to make a repair, we will do the same thing. We will have a contractor on retainer to do those same things.
That we would pay for.
If we do the work, we would pay for it. If it's your house and you do it, then you would pay for it.
Is there any way, Mr. Kellogg, I understand the liability of it, but is there anything we could do, senior citizens could be exempted from this? I shouldn't even looked at you. I knew what you...
That would be against my advice, and I understand.
Us old people think about it.
I do understand, but it's a great liability to the city, and our carrier is pretty much demanding that we do this.
All right. I tried.
Mr. Alexander, we do want to take care of you guys.
It's Resolution R2512-88. All in favor of moving forward to council, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Moves forward unanimously. Item 13 is ordinance 02512-73, appropriating $750,000 for the Bly Avenue Stormwater Project. Mr. Tuttle.
Thank you, ma'am. As the mayor said, this is a request to appropriate $750,000 from the unassigned stormwater utility fund. So this is money in the bank, in the account, but was not appropriated through our normal budgeting process. But it is in accordance with our capital improvement program that was adopted, and we're ready to move forward with these designs and right-of-way acquisition and put this alongside the Bly Avenue road widening project so that these stormwater projects are happening concurrently.
Motion to send it on to council.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Carter, second by Councilman Jones. Questions, discussion? It's ordinance 02512-73. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Does move forward to council unanimously. Item 14 is Resolution R2512-90, resolution accepting public improvements by the City of Gallatin in Meadow Glen at Fairway Farms, Section 3A. Mr. Tuttle. Oh, you want to do both of them?
If you don't mind
3A and
including
4A.
Resolution R2512-91 as well. Same subdivision, two different sections, Section 3A and Section 4A of Meadow Glen at Fairway Farms. They include portions of Crowley Lane, Wakefield Lane, Rosie Dale Drive, and Grassy Glen Drive. And these sections of roadways and stormwater infrastructure are ready to be accepted.
A motion by Councilman Carter, second by Councilman Fan. Any questions, any discussion? Okay, this is Resolution R2512-90 and 91. Moving forward to council. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? They both move forward unanimously. We're skipping 16, moving down to item 17, which is ordinance 02512-69, ordinance appropriating $15,000 from Project Bullhawk for Building Codes Department expenses. And Mr. Harris is at the podium.
This is to purchase 3 gas monitors, $7,500. And the remaining that money would be needed for office equipment that we're needing. We're rearranging some things in the office, freeing up some space for planning, moving those folks out into another room, and we're just trying to make the best of a bad situation.
Motion to send it on to council.
Motion by Councilman Carter, second by Councilman Jones. Questions, discussion? It's ordinance 02512-69. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed say no. Thank you so much, Mr. Harris. Item 18 is Resolution R2512-92. Ms. Courtney Kinjimi and Rosemary Bates. This is a resolution to revise the City of Gallatin Personnel Classification Plan and add additional headcount within the Gallatin Economic Development Agency.
Well, hey, everybody, I'm back. Courtney has done a great job trying to take a job description for create a job description for a municipality that does not exist anywhere else in a municipality, at least in the state of Tennessee and in some other areas. So but I think that we finalized the job description. If you have questions, please let us know about that. But the other part of this is determining what pay grade the person would go into. If you just look at the job and don't attach a human being to it, you have one conversation. If you remember from Mr. Hazelbaker's presentations, he has had a very specific request. What I don't know that was ever discussed was that request including benefits? Because if it's not, then you would have more money to appropriate, including benefits. He has been researching that, and he is here tonight, and he has information. And then Ms. Kanjimi has information too. But again, it's been very challenging to look at a comparable pay rate when there isn't really anything to compare to. We're plowing new ground here, so to speak. So is that sufficient?
That is fair. So what I did hand out, though, is our salary pay table. So, and as Rosemary said, we did find some comparables. Most of the time, positions of this nature are within a county or area tourism organization as opposed to inside of a municipality. There is one that is closely related out of Chattanooga, which is again out of a tourism body as opposed to the municipality, but based on that and some other norming, there's a suggestion on where it could land if it is something you want to continue with.
Also, just a reminder that if you do approve this and continue to move it forward, as we do with all job positions, it would have to be posted. Initially, we start out internally, then it would be posted externally. There would be applicants, they would have to be vetted and called down, and we would follow that process. So this is not, you have a person who would like to have the job, they are going to have to go through the application process just like anybody else would.
And even if you pass this resolution tonight, funding would have to be presented separately as an ordinance. So while the position, you may approve the head count, if the money is not there, the position cannot be filled. So that is separate from tonight, which is approving job description and determining a level of salary if that is what you choose.
Thank you, Mayor. I can't really approve a position if I don't know what salary we're going to put there. I think that it's all together. So you don't have to give the number, but you can give us the grade you think about. So we have an idea of what you guys are thinking, because it's hard to approve a position without knowing how much it's going to cost the city.
Absolutely. I guess the challenge here has been all along the way, you have implied and indicated by moving it forward that you felt like you agreed with the value proposition that Mr. Hazelbaker presented, which was a salary of $100,000. Again, including benefits or not including benefits. I think that has been what you've been looking at, and I think the challenge here is because there's nothing to compare it to that is, apples to apples or even fruit to fruit sometimes. This is really where we're kind of in this land where we need you to determine what pay grade you want to put it in. And then if that is something that is palatable to people who want to apply, then they apply. And if it is not, then they don't apply. Or they understand and they go with the pay grade that you pick. Again, Mr. Hazelbaker is here. He is the one who has been championing this, and we've been happy to bring it forward because there are other council people who ask us to. And again, so far as I recall, it's gotten unanimous votes. So we're in a little bit of a quandary ourselves about where you want to place this in the pay grades and steps.
Ms. Jimmy, don't you have some comparable, some numbers that you found other places?
Some similar positions, and again, if we go apples to oranges, not necessarily apples to apples. The Chattanooga position, when adjusted for location and municipality, so industry as opposed to tourism specific, it would probably land in the SA to SB.
Do these numbers include benefits?
Or SB.
Oh, okay.
S as in Sam?
S, salary, yes.
Salary as in
Salary,
S.
A or B, when compared.
Great.
So by comparison, in Chattanooga, it is roughly a position very similar was listed and is looking to be filled for the 79, so $80,000 to $100,000 area.
Yeah.
When normed for cost of living and all of those other things, it would take us in the anywhere from 55 to 75 range, in my opinion.
I have something. I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, young man.
I definitely want to see this position come to the city of Gallatin. I am more so in favor of a salary range from the SA to SB range. And I think we need to hurry up and do this. My little niece cheers for Cheerville, and we went to, several weeks ago, we went to, it's not a competition, it's just where they go and they just perform for everybody to see. It was $15 per person to go in that building. And there were probably 10 of us that went to see her. And this is not even a real competition. It was only Cheerville and high schools. So.
An expo.
Yes, an expo. That's what we went to. $15, y'all. We need to be recognizing this kind of income for the city of Gallatin, because we also have to drive an hour away with no restaurants around, where if we can find somewhere in Gallatin to put this, We have tons of restaurants here. We have tons of restaurants coming. And Cheerville, that's stationed right down the street and headquartered in Hendersonville, and they have locations here, they can be using our facilities instead of all of our families from Gallatin, Hendersonville, in Sumner County going hours away to go do stuff or going to Lebanon. Like, we can have that right here.
Where did y'all go? I'm just curious.
Oh, dang. That place, it was in Kentucky.
You have
Right
to know
before
if it's a
Bowling Green.
privately owned facility or
I think it's like a
government-owned?
city park or something, or a city facility.
I'm just curious. You don't have to look it up right now.
To add to what Mr. Carter is saying, without revealing too much, because in my perspective, my participation in the conversation about this is the information is confidential, but we continue to have interest from people who want to bring revenue-generating sports projects and entities to the city of Gallatin. We've also been having conversations with some of the professional sports in Nashville about the possibilities for facilities and expanding their ability to access other facilities and, quite frankly, to grow a job pipeline. I mean, unfortunately today, college sports is a moneymaker. It's a job. College kids can make millions of dollars on name, image, and likeness, NIL. So they are looking at pipelines of players to develop into minor leagues and professional leagues. So I agree that the position is necessary. Again, it's whatever you're comfortable with in terms of the recommendation. And you said A and B, right? A or B?
Yes, ma'am.
Did you have a preference? Well, one or the other?
SA. Oh, so that facility we went to was the Michael Buchanan Park in Bowling Green, and that was just $15 per person. My sister and her family and my little niece and dad and everybody, they went to another one in Lebanon like 2 weeks ago, and that one was, I think, $30 or $40 per ticket per person for everybody ages 6 and above.
Do these numbers include benefits, or are these plus benefits?
That's just salary. Councilman Chavez.
Thank you, Mayor. I agree with Councilman Carter. I will be on the SA side. Yeah, that's what you said, SA, yeah. And I think that just my way of thinking, because everything we have related to sport right now is on the park and recs. And I think that position should be attached to the park and recs, because that's where we're going to go do our sports. And just a thought that came in my head is that if we try to develop sport facilities here, maybe we need to keep some land available instead of building all the houses on there, because when we don't have more land, we're not going to build anything. And my last thing before I see you coming at me.
Coming at you.
On the minimum qualification, when you talk about equivalent combination of education and experience, I think that need maybe a little more detail on what kind of experience, and is that on top of the bachelor degree, or is that?
So right now, a bachelor's degree would equate essentially to 4 years of experience.
Mm-hmm.
So if one had, 3 years of experience but didn't have a bachelor's degree, they would need another 4 years of experience in order to kind of equate, and that's just simple numbers. But, or if they had 2 years of experience at a $7 million, revenue generating entity, that may be able to qualify. So
I think there would be a little more explanation, because I was an equestrian at high level. I've spent 20 years an equestrian, but that doesn't mean I could develop a soccer complex or something like that. So, or I would have the business degree to go there. So I think they need a little more a little more definition there.
If I can real quick address the
Yes, ma'am.
parks part. So that was one of the pieces that Rosemary and I kind of talked about originally, in that the position itself is not.
You get closer to the microphone.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm usually loud. So one of the things that Rosemary and I had talked about before was that, I guess maybe initially my understanding was that the position was going to be kind of tournament management. And that's not the thought. And so if you look at the job description, it is more business development directed, which is where we kind of fell into economic development as opposed to tournament management. It's to help bring in businesses or connect with community partners, specifically initially with a goal of building this sports complex, which would then feed into the tournament management of the Parks Department. Am I saying that right?
No, this is a business development position. And without going into a lot of detail and explanation, it requires a certain set of skills, maintaining confidentiality and being able to work at an elevated level with CEOs and business professionals at very top levels, making lots of money and spending lots of money in their community. And there may be someone in Parks and Rec who applies for it, which would be great if they've got this qualification. So I'm not.
Councilman Fan, sorry.
Are we going to have a job description, and this person, in my opinion, is going to need a staff? Maybe.
No.
I don't know what.
No.
There won't be any staff.
No.
So they'll be on their own.
We don't anticipate. There is a vacant position in my budget that I would like to fill if this is added to my department. Josh and I are already. Gallatin is incredibly popular right now with commercial, retail, and industrial. The list is long. Things I cannot share with you because of confidentiality, but good things that are coming. I'm very, what is the word? I don't just say yes to anything that wants to come here and build. I've said no to a company that I didn't feel was the right fit for Gallatin. Doesn't stop them from buying property if they want to and trying to build a business here. But I've told them this is not something we would champion because of their culture, and I don't think it would be a good fit. So, but it would be nice if we could fill that third position so we all three would have some sort of administrative assistance, because these positions, what Josh and I do and what this person will be doing, we need to be out of the office a lot, meeting with companies and existing industries, and in some ways we have to make a decision every week. Are we going to do an existing industry that's looking to expand, or are we going to devote our time to this company that wants to come in and is on a tight timeline and needs us to turn things around every day? And sometimes we're working on one project all day long to try and make that happen. But no, we wouldn't add any more staff than what's already in the budget.
Some type of support or staff in this, because it's going to get this off the ground. It's going to take a whole lot of time and a whole lot of hours.
If you have that position open, why you didn't fill it? I know you had an administrative assistant position. Why you didn't fill it?
We wanted to get Josh started and get him as far as long as we could and see if the interest in Gallatin, going into when we hired Josh, we were heading into a new presidential administration with lots of anticipated changes, tariffs and all those things. So we wanted to get acclimated to what this new administration, what might happen and whether that.
I asked them to hold off.
Okay, thank you for saving me there.
But now that we know where we're going, you have the need, why don't you advertise it? You already have it in a budget, so why don't you advertise it and get an administrative position?
Well, I had promised the mayor that we would take time, and as soon as she and I have a moment to talk, and if she agrees that we're at a point, especially if we have this position, that we're ready to get that hired. Also, if we are going to add this position, I would like to know that before we hire this other person. I want the other person in our office to be very clear about what their responsibilities are. They're going to have some autonomy with our existing industries, but they're also going to have some administrative duties. And whenever you're hiring someone to do a existing industries coordinator, they don't necessarily think they have to sit at a desk and answer the phone and open the mail and code an invoice or keep up with a budget line. So I want to make it clear to whoever we hire that this is the scenario now. You are helping 3 people plus doing your own job. I think that's fair, don't you?
Makes sense. Thank you, ma'am.
Motion to send it on to council.
Okay, motion by Councilman Carter,
Second.
second by Councilman Alexander.
Okay.
No, I would like to make an amendment that we consider S4 as salary, if you want to do that.
SA.
SA, sorry, SA. Yeah. I didn't have my glasses on. That was not on the motion, so.
How long do you think this process is going to take to get this person in place?
Realistically, I wouldn't try to even post it right this close to the holidays. We can, but if we did, I would leave it open for a
Through
considerable
January.
amount, sometime into January,
Okay,
because you
till
don't
the
want
end
to
of January.
have somebody be out of town or miss the opportunity to apply.
Don't think you can.
It's something we need to get started.
Maybe by, I would say at this point in the year with the holidays, you're probably looking at the earliest you could have someone hired, the earliest, because you've also got to appropriate the money into the budget. So I would say hired maybe and get the money appropriated in February. At some point in February. I can't say early, middle, or late at this point.
I don't think we can post it anyway until we approve the job description.
Right. Yeah, as soon as you
Until we approved it.
Right, that's why this is here.
Yeah. Yeah, got to get this done first before we can then appropriate the money and then simultaneously start advertising and then decide.
So you want an amendment to set the pay at SA? Is there a second? Second, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? So the motion is now amended to move forward to council. Did you guys want to give Mr. Hazelbeck, since he's standing up there, he's like shaking his head. I don't know. Didn't want you to feel not
He needed to be here in
acknowledged.
case, and, so he usually works nights, so I appreciate that he's here.
Thank you. Sorry it's been so long. Questions for him, y'all? Okay, let's vote on this. It's Resolution R2512-92. All in favor? Moving forward to council with the SA pay scale, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Does move forward with unanimous support. Item 19 is Resolution R2512-93, resolution amending the City of Gallatin Personnel Rules and Regulations, Rule 16, Section 16.2 and 16.3.
Literally adding the words, beginning with the first full pay period of employment to both our vacation and sick accruals as written in our policy.
Motion sent to council.
Second.
Motion by Councilman Juvent, second by somebody over here. Okay, Councilman Alexander. All in favor? Questions. All in favor of moving forward, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say no. Does move forward unanimously. Item 20 is Resolution R2512-95. This is a resolution to update the City of Gallatin compensation plan by removing Assistant Director of Codes position and adding a commercial plan reviewer within the Codes Department. Ms. Kenjimmy.
So with the promotion of our Assistant Director of Codes into the department head position, he has chosen to request to reclass that vacant position into a different kind of position, the commercial plans reviewer position, which is a different pay grade. So there is a financial savings as compared to what was budgeted for the Assistant Director of Codes position. But that description is in front of you with the pay grade listed.
Motion sent to council.
Motion by Councilman Juvent, second by Councilman Carter. Questions, discussion? All in favor of moving forward to council, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Moves forward unanimously. Item 21. She's so excited to have an item on the agenda, and we made it be last, and blame Angela. It's Resolution R2512-98, Resolution authorizing the mayor to sign a software as a service agreement between the city and Tyler Technologies for the purpose of moving enterprise ERP and enterprise permitting and licensing software from an on-premises environment to a Tyler Technologies hosted cloud environment.
Motion sent to council. Make it easy.
I think we need to at least explain why it's on the agenda.
Yeah, but I appreciate the motion in the second.
I do appreciate that. I'll go with it. Back during budget season, I asked and you granted me the opportunity to move our InterGov and Munis systems to the cloud. So now is the time to sign the contract. The contract is in excess of $300,000 to begin with, but the reason I need your approval is because it contains a couple of non-negotiable third-party terms and conditions that Tyler just would not budge on, and I feel that they're low risk and that they will not ever present a problem necessarily. So I recommend that we go ahead and forward with this.
Motion second still stand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, questions? All right, Resolution R2512-98, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Okay, let's move forward now to other business. Councilman Chubans.
Thank you, Mayor. You know, I travel a lot and I go to plenty of downtown all over the country, and I go to downtown here, and I think a staff who kind of bother me on the downtown is that we have business who not just in the downtown area, but near the downtown area, and people don't know about it. We have shops in front of the courthouse that people know only if they go to the courthouse. They don't know there. And in a lot of city I goes, when you arrive in the downtown, they have small signs that are really nice. Will give you a direction, the business, you know, is a restaurant sign or whatever, and so you know it there and you can go. And I think we talk a lot about helping our business. I think that would be a cheap investment for the return on investment. We should have, you know, helping our business, and so I would like to see if we can explore that.
I don't understand what you're saying, explore. Explore signs, explore...
Yeah, for signs to help, because I know the chamber put the kiosk, but there is only one kiosk, and it's not, you know, it's only one where...
I mean, you couldn't do specific. You could do restaurants and...
Yeah, you have an arrow, we say a restaurant, sandwich shop there with the arrows, a sign restaurant, so people know it's a
I don't think we could do
restaurant.
specific businesses. It would have to be general, because otherwise we'd miss one or somebody would close, then we'd have to change everything.
Exactly, or general. But I think we miss that downtown, to where the people who come downtown to figure out where things are and help the business. If I see an arrow, there is a restaurant there, and I want to eat, maybe I'm going to go there. I'm going to follow this arrow and find that
Well,
restaurant.
the most simple thing that I've seen in a lot of cities, and it makes good sense to me, and I know that we've had discussions and we've actually done versions of it over the years, is where you have pedestals that have the downtown map with the businesses on it, and that you would have flyers that you have at every retailer and restaurant that someone can pick up if they want to learn more about the other businesses on the square. They've been produced at various points in the past, but they have to be maintained, and they are somebody's responsibility and can't be the city's, but it would be a great project for downtown Gallatin to do something like that with the business names.
I like the idea of the map. Jenna, is that something you could look into? A kind of map with businesses and...
I'm sorry. Yes, I'm sorry about that.
We are currently in the process of that for our 2026 Gallatin Visitor Guide. And like I've said before, we've discussed what's called wayfinding signs. It's kind of what you were talking about. There's just a lot of factors that go into it, but it's something that we could explore, sure.
We are improving wayfinding as these roads and the projects are finished up. And
Yes, projects have put kind of a delay on bringing those signs and the different projects forward. I've had
parking is
countless-
the biggest thing to me.
Absolutely, and I've had countless conversations with Public Works and Engineering, and
We've put them in the past.
had meetings and meetings about getting these signs and figuring it out, but there have just been so many projects that have changed the layout of a lot of different
Yeah, and you
places,
can't just
so.
put signs everywhere. You have to have
Right.
some. Mr. DePriest, did you have something you wanted to add?
I just wanted to add on the wayfinding signage for the parking. We had to order astro brackets. It's how we hang the signs from the mast arms. There was a 16-week delay on those. They actually
good grief.
They actually just came in this week, so within the next couple of weeks, you'll see those going up as well.
Sweet. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Anyone else with other business? Department heads? No department heads?
Motion to adjourn.
Well, no, I'm not finished. I have gotten many texts. We had an unusual occurrence at the beginning of the meeting where we had a council member's spouse serve the mayor with a lawsuit. And so a lot of people are curious about that, but basically it's a lawsuit that was threatened some time ago by Mr. Juvance when he left the meeting. So that's what that is. With that, I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, Happy New Year, grace, love, kindness, the things of the holidays. Good night, everyone. Motion to adjourn? No, I can't make the motion. I'm asking y'all to. Motion, second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Ladies and gentlemen, we're adjourned.
Love, 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 love.